Welcome in to Steelers Talk and the Commanders Report presented by Prize Picks. Oh my goodness, guys, I am a complete loss of words here, guys, because I'm so excited about today's Chat Sports 2026 live mock draft here on two different channels here at Chat Sports. We kind of did this during free agency where we had dual streams on Steelers and Commanders here at Chat Sports. Today we're going to be doing the same, and today I will be the acting GM of both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Commanders for our 3-round live mock draft here, where every single host here at Chat Sports will be picking for their respective teams that they cover here at Chat Sports. We are about 10 minutes away from the start of this mock draft, where, of course, Mitchell Renz and the Raiders Report will be on the board, where they will assumingly take Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. And I just want to thank both audiences for joining us here today. I know that maybe it's not the most ideal situation having to share a stream with another channel here, but, you know, most hosts here at Chat Sports, I can't talk today, Ponzi. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just so excited to make these picks for our teams today. But, you know, I think that this is a really fun thing. This is what we did last year. We had a lot of fun with it. And this year, guys, we're actually introducing trades. We'll discuss kind of how this thing is going to work here in just a second here. But I want you guys to get down there in the comments section and be lively. Who do you want me to pick for the Commanders and Steelers' first-round draft selections? And as always, guys, like any other normal live show that we do on either one of these channels, you guys can super chat to get your question or your comment up on screen. Now, we do have a little bit of a time clock on the mock draft and all this different stuff, guys. So if you super chat and it's not up on screen right away, we'll get to all of the super chats probably at the end of the mock draft, and we'll talk ball. If you got any questions surrounding the Washington Commanders or the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm happy to answer any and all questions, as we are now 1 week away from the start of the 2026 NFL Draft, which of course is being hosted by the city of Pittsburgh. Now, two quick notes for you guys about this mock draft. It's going to be a 3-round mock draft, okay? We did the same thing last year where we did 3 rounds, but we weren't allowed to make trades. Well, this year, we've been allowed here to do trades, and I've been working the phones here over the last several days, trying to put together some frameworks of some potential trade-ups, some trade-downs, and I think that we got some very interesting things in store for you guys here on today's mock draft for both teams, actually. I've got trade frameworks in place for both teams here, and I think that you guys are really going to enjoy a lot of the stuff that we're going to have for you guys on today's show. Now, in terms of the draft picks that we're going to be having for both of these teams, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have the most draft picks out of any team in the NFL draft this year with 12, including 5 in the first 3 rounds. Commanders fans, I know you're jealous because I know you guys know that you only have 2 draft picks, right? You got pick number 7, but you got a top 10 pick, which is really nice. There's a lot of good players that are going to be available there at number 7. Could we see a trade down today? Stay tuned for that, but no picks in round 2. And then obviously you have that lone 3rd-round pick at pick number 71. So those are going to be all the picks that we have to start this mock draft. And as you guys will see throughout the course of this here, we'll see if the right opportunity presents itself to trade down or trade up. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about all these different prospects, and we're going to see what all the different hosts here at Chat Sports want to do with their respective teams. Now, we do have some trades that we did get confirmed earlier today before the draft begins. I want to kind of break those down here to kick off today's show. Moro Ojomo, the defensive tackle, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, was sent to Chicago in exchange for a 3rd-round pick, number 89 overall. So Chase Sr., the host of our Philadelphia Eagles channel, will have pick number 89. And then the big trade of the day, the blockbuster, I don't know why Ponzi didn't show this one first, but A.J. Brown has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Davante Adams and a 2nd-round pick. Once again, Chase Sr., our Eagles host, getting quite busy here with Jackson Durham, our Rams host, and Davante Adams is apparently now a Philadelphia Eagle, and the Eagles will have an additional 2nd-round pick as well. So Sr. adding a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick to his arsenal before this mock draft, and A.J. Brown joins forces with Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford in that already loaded Los Angeles Rams team. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Who are you hoping that Pittsburgh or Washington drafts in round 1 this year? Ponzi, if you want to get up here on screen, We will be joined by our producer here, Mr. Ponzi, in just a second. And I can't give away everything about my plans here, guys, but just the only thing I'm going to say is buckle your seatbelts, because I think it's going to be a very fun mock draft here. Ponzi, who are people saying in the Commanders chat that they want to go get at number 7?
Give me 1 second while I wait for it to load.
Sounds good. Right now, we have a live poll going on in Steelers. What position should we take in round 1 this year? 56% say wide receiver, 41% say offensive guard. I think that those are two positions that I'm certainly going to be looking at here as we approach pick number 21. I think that those are two really important positions, as our Steelers Talk audience knows I've been talking about for weeks here. Those are two things that the Steelers, I think, absolutely need to address in this draft. Then when it comes to the Washington Commanders, I would say receiver's a pretty big one. Right now, De'Ami Brown is their number 2 wide receiver. Obviously, they have Terry McLaurin, who's awesome. And then Brandon Ayuk. Steelers fans are very familiar with Brandon Ayuk, but Ayuk is expected to join his best friend in Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels in Washington whenever the 49ers end up releasing him. So it's going to be interesting here. I'd say wide receiver, safety, center is a big position of need as well for the Washington Commanders. So I think that, this is going to be a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun last year. I'm really excited with the added element of trades here this season. So we're going to get into the first pick here in about 3.5 minutes. But first, I want to tell you about our sponsor today at Prize Picks. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks, of course, America's #1 sports picks app. With playoff basketball finally here, there's no better time to cash in during the playoffs this season. The Prize Picks app is super easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. And if you're a hoops guy, you can go with points, rebounds, assists, blocks, or three-pointers. And if you're more of a seam head, you can choose hits, home runs, or strikeouts. You can even look ahead to next year's football season, where you guys can do future looks at all these different position groups and all these different stat categories. Here in this particular example, we have receiving touchdowns for Puka Nacua, taking the more on that, as well as the more on passing yards for Dak Prescott and Caleb Williams. And if you guys on the Prize Picks app would put in this projection, you guys could put in $20 and get 120 back if you get all 3 correct. So one thing that I love about the Prize Picks app is the new social feeds feature, guys, where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at CSperry to see all of my lineups that I put out every single day. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks today. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app, and a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's live show. Now, just so you guys know, we do have merch available on our website for both channels here for our Steelers fans. You guys can go to chatsports.com/STmerch. We just released a new Michael Pittman Jr. t-shirt. If you guys want to grab that, it's 20% off, by the way. So once the mock draft starts here in a minute and a half, okay, that's going to start a flash sale where everything on our website is going to be 20% off Pittsburgh Steelers and Washington Commanders merch. So you guys can go to chatsports.com/STmerch. I know Ponzi's putting that link in our Steelers chat right now. And then we have other stuff on our Steelers website as well. We got a Steelers Talk channel logo t-shirt. We got married into this gear. Got a bunch of stuff for you guys to choose from, but the new piece is the Michael Pittman Jr. t-shirt. You guys can get that 20% off today when you go to chatsports.com/STmerch while the mock draft is still active. And then for our Commanders audience, we have our Scary Terry McLaurin t-shirts. You guys can go to chatsports.com/scary to get your t-shirt 20% off today. These t-shirts come in 3 different colors. You've got the red, you've got the black, and then my personal favorite, if you trust yourself with a white t-shirt, the white, where you got the paint splatters in the background. You got Scary Terry with the Scream mask. I think that's a really, really cool look here. Even though the uniform is outdated now because the Commanders just announced their brand new uniforms this week, you guys can get this t-shirt 20% off at chatsports.com/scary to pick it up today. Okay. Now it's time to boo Roger Goodell, otherwise known as our head producer here at Chat Sports, Sam Brown, who is running this thing. All right, man. First 10 picks. Of course, within this first 10 picks, the Washington Commanders will be on the clock at number 7. And, of course, we are about to start here. And the clock has run out, and we are officially live here on the Chat Sports live mock draft for 2026. The Las Vegas Raiders and Mitchell Renz of the Raiders Report is now on the clock at round 1, pick 1. So let me know down there in the comments section, who do you want your team to draft in round 1 this year? Obviously, the Commanders will be coming up here at pick number 7. Who do you want me to take, Commanders fans? Steelers fans, we're coming up at number 21. Who do you want me to take? Let me know down there in the comments section. All right, so we are awaiting word here from Mitchell Renz. He's probably going to use the whole minute here, even though we all know who he's going to pick here, Ponzi. So this will be Fernando Mendoza. I think that we can actually start talking about what's going to happen at number 2, because we've got Dylan, our Jets producer, making the picks for the New York Jets coming up here at number 2. And I think that's really where the draft starts here. Where are they going to take David Bailey, or are they going to take Arvell Reese? And we officially have the first pick of the draft in, ladies and gentlemen. And no surprise, it is quarterback out of Indiana, Fernando Mendoza. The Raiders Report is going crazy right now. They're probably banging over there. If you guys know, if you know, you know. And Fernando, I think that pick makes a lot of sense there, Ponzi. You got somebody that's national champion, Heisman Trophy winner. He's got great size. He's got good arm strength. He's got supreme accuracy to the deep portion of the field. He's somebody that projects to be a long-time franchise quarterback option in this league. Is he the best number 1 quarterback in of all time? No, but I think that the Raiders, especially if they give him a couple years to develop and kind of transition into the NFL game, it was a very college-esque offense at Indiana there. I think he's going to have to have a little bit of a transition period as he learns how to take snaps under center and under center footwork and doing full field progression reads. We'll have to see what ends up happening there with Fernando in the years to come. I think it would be good for him to sit a year and be behind Kirk Cousins, and I think that's a good fit. Kirk's a good fit for Clint Kubiak's offense. What's that, Ponzi? All right, number 2 is in, and the Jets with a surprise here. They are not going edge rusher. They are taking safety out of Ohio State. Caleb Downs is the number 2 overall pick in the Chat Sports mock draft here in 2026. And honestly, I kind of like it, man. I don't necessarily – I probably would have taken – There's a trade here at number 3. All right, so we're already getting things going here, where I believe the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be moving up to the number 3 pick. And it looks like it is. Jackson Durham, who is also our Rams host, was already busy today executing the A.J. Brown trade. Now he's moving up to number 3 overall with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Cardinals are getting number 9 and number 40 overall back in return for this pick. All right, so now KC is on the clock. I would be stunned if this is not for an edge rusher. But which edge rusher is it going to be? Because you got Arvell Reese, who's still on the board. That number 2 pick with Caleb Downs was a surprise. So obviously he's off the board for the Washington Commanders. Okay. Ponzi's telling me that we have our number 3 selection as well. So if you're a Commanders fan, you're hoping for Caleb Downs. That's too bad. He's off the board. Sounds good. All right, as we await Jackson Durham's pick at number 3 overall, I would not be surprised if this is Reuben Bain Jr., by the way, guys. Keep an eye on that. So we'll all right, we're waiting on our graphics to sync up here, guys. But Ponzi, what are the draft selections here? So I would assume, because I know talking with Durham, he sits right next to me here at Chat Sports. I'm guessing he's going to take Ruben Bain at number 3 here, and Arvell Reese and David Bailey are going to escape the top 3. Number 3, David Bailey from Texas Tech is going to be coming off the board here. That's who Kansas City is moving up for. So whenever we get our draft graphics back, we'll make sure to put that up on screen for you guys. Everybody cheer on Ponzi in the chat. Ponzi, Ponzi, Ponzi. Come on, baby. Is everybody else experiencing this, or is it just us? By the way, this is exactly why we do this mock draft, is to, go through a little bit of a mock simulation of what our draft graphics are going to look like so that we're ready for next week's live coverage of the NFL draft here. Everybody cheer on Ponzi in the chat. Come on, you can do it, Ponzi. All right. We already have 5 picks in. We're coming up on our pick at number 7. Well, who's for number 4? Okay, so if you guys need an update here as we're looking to get our draft graphics back up. Number 3 was David Bailey. Number 4 for the Tennessee Titans was Sonny Styles, so that's another one for the Commanders off the board here. Then number 5, it is Jeremiah Love, so that's another potential Commanders target off the board as we approach number 7. All right, the Dallas Cowboys are trading up to the number 6 pick with the Cleveland Browns. So this was the same trade that was projected by a number of different people, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper Jr. Who could they be coming up for? Now, the Cowboys pick is in here at number 6. So we are on the clock here at number 7 for the Washington Commanders. And just so you guys know, we do have a trade in place here to move down where the Washington Commanders will be trading down to the number 11 pick with the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins will be getting pick number 7. The Washington Commanders will be getting pick number 11. So they're moving down 4 spots, but they're getting an additional 3rd-round pick at number 85. All right, so that is what's going to be happening here. The Commanders trade out of the top 10 to go get an extra 3rd-round pick. That's another top 100 in. And the Miami Dolphins will be coming up to be the number 7 overall selection. So we'll see who Miami has in store for us here. And I'm guessing that they're coming up for maybe a Mansour Delane, or maybe they love Francis Mauigoa. Obviously Caleb Downs is off the board here. Maybe they love Carnell Tate. Carnell is still on the board here. Could have stuck in pick here if I was the Washington Commanders, but I decided to move down here to get that extra day 2 draft pick in round 3, because the player that I'm kind of targeting here, I'm expecting to still be there at the number 11 overall selection. So let's hope that the player that I'm looking to draft is going to be there in a couple of picks. So we are seeing who the Miami Dolphins are going to take at 7. Still haven't gotten word who the Commanders or who the Cowboys picked at number 6. They picked Arvell Reese. Okay, so Reese is off the board, so he wasn't available for the Commanders either at number 7. No, we're picking at 11 because we traded down. All right, we got some technical difficulties, guys. We'll be right back. We got our pick at number 11 for the Washington Commanders, and then, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be picking at number 21. Let's see. So once again, guys, if you're just joining us, we're having a couple of technical difficulties. We'll be right back here with our graphics package. And then we just traded down with the Washington Commanders here. Miami Dolphins coming up to the number 7 overall selection. In exchange, we move down to number 11, and we also get pick number 85. So along with pick number 71 in the 3rd round, we will be getting pick number 85 as well. Ruben Bain Jr. is going to be the pick for the Miami Dolphins. He will be staying in South Beach with our live coverage of the 2026 Chat Sports mock draft here, guys. The Commanders will be on the clock here momentarily. Actually, the Commanders are on the clock right now, so we'll just recap the picks really quickly. David Bailey went number 3 to the Chiefs. Sonny Styles went to the Tennessee Titans at number 4. Then we got Jeremiah Love going to the Giants at 5. Arvell Reese going to the Cowboys at number 6. Ruben Bain going to the Dolphins at number 7. And then Carnell Tate going to the Saints at number 8. Followed by Francis Mawanoa going to number 9. Okay, so we got a little bit of and then we got Mansour Delane coming off the board for the Cincinnati Bengals at number 10. So we have a 3-minute break here, guys, just so you know, before the Commanders will be back on the clock at pick number 11 here. And before we get into the rest of this mock draft here and we prepare for the Commanders' pick at number 11, let's be real, guys. Buying men's jewelry nowadays is an absolute nightmare. Most of the time, it's low-quality junk that snaps after a week, or it was just insanely overpriced stuff that's just with ridiculous markups because of name brands. That's why I rock with GLD. Use code CHAT to get 40% off at GLD.com. GLD has completely changed the game in men's jewelry. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank. And unlike a lot of other companies, GLD only uses real gold. None of that cheap stuff. Every single stone is meticulously hand set. Plus their proprietary production process makes sure you're getting the highest quality jewelry possible. You can literally see and feel the difference. I actually brought my Steelers pendant here, guys, to show you exactly the highest quality stuff that you can find here from GLD. You guys can see how it sparkles here. I wear this during our Steelers Talk watch parties a lot, and I always get complimented from my friends here at Chat Sports about how good it looks. So you guys know the feeling when you put on a new chain. It just hits different. It elevates your whole fit, from the confidence to the compliments to the way you carry yourself, all change instantly. And GLD has everything from chains to pendants to rings, earrings, and even fully iced out watches. Whatever your style, they've got you covered. And listen, don't just take my word for it. Over 2 million customers and 50,000 5-star reviews back it up. Not to mention it's worn by some of the biggest names out there like Justin Bieber, Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, A$AP Rocky, and a ton more. But the best part is that every single piece from GLD is guaranteed for life. It's literally built to last the rest of your life. So work hard and change the game with GLD today for a limited time only. New customers get an insane deal. Use code CHAT to get 40% off at GLD.com. That's 40% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. After you purchase, the last we heard about them, please support our show and tell them that we sent you. And a big thank you to GLD for sponsoring today's live show. All right, so now a little bit of a recap here as the Commanders are on the clock here momentarily. Yeah, so that was our trade alert there. So we're trading down to number 11. And we will give you trade details when we can. All right, I just sent in our pick. We had an offer to trade down. I decided to stick and pick here with a player. So when we get those graphics, we'll put them up on screen for you guys. All right, so we'll just have a recap of the picks here, Ponzi, whenever you get the graphics all figured out. So the best available, according to Tom Downey, Spencer Fano, the tackle from Utah, Venga Iwane, the guard from Penn State, Makai Lemon, receiver from USC, Jermod McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee, are the 4 best players available. And with the 11th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, I am selecting Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC, to be the next wide receiver to pair with Terry McLaurin in the Washington Commanders offense. The player that Makai Lemon gets compared to the most is Amon-Ra St. Brown. And with new offensive coordinator David Blough coming in here in his first year calling plays for Dan Quinn in the Washington Commanders offense, this is a similar style offense to Ben Johnson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is a similar style of receiver, became a true number one guy in this style of offense. I think Makai Lemon could be something very similar for the Washington Commanders, pairing him up with the dynamic talent of quarterback Jaden Daniels, of course, number one receiver Terry McLaurin, and then I'm still expecting the Commanders to eventually land Brandon Ayuk as well, and that could potentially form one of, if not the best wide receiver trio in the National Football League, and could, fast track this Commanders offense to being one of the best offenses in the National Football League in 2026. So grade the pick for me, Commanders fans, down there in the comment section. I traded down, got an extra pick in round 3, and I still was able to get one of the top receivers in the class, Makai Lemon, at number 11. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. I know my Steelers fans are pissed at me for taking Makai Lemon off the Steelers board, but I can't play favorites here, guys. I gotta act independently here, and I think Makai Lemon was the best pick for the Washington Commanders. And don't worry, Steelers fans, our pick is coming up here soon at pick number 21. Commanders fans, you can chill out for a second. We got a couple picks in round 3, but we got a little bit of waiting to go before we get to pick number 71. And now we can really focus in on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have picks at 21 and 53. Those will be the next two selections that we have on this live stream. Of course, the Steelers currently have pick 21, pick 53, and then as well as 76, 85, and 99, all of which in the third round. So Cleveland just took a pick here at number 12 overall. And it is, once we get the graphics up, Spencer Fano, the tackle from Utah. So Cleveland trades down with the Dallas Cowboys and still take a really good tackle. I think that's a good move for Cleveland. Obviously, that's a player that, the Steelers have brought in for a top 30 visit and have shown some interest in, decided not to go in that direction. Well, obviously the Steelers didn't decide to go in that direction. The Browns ended up taking him off the board. And at number 13, Jackson Durham of the Los Angeles Rams has taken Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon, with that draft selection, pairing him up with A.J. Brown, pairing him up with Puka Nacua. If you are unaware, the Eagles and Rams pulled off a pre-draft trade, sending A.J. Brown to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Devontae Adams and an additional second-round pick going to Chase Sr. and Eagles now. And now we are at pick number 14 with the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see what Trader Joey wants to do with this pick here. Joey Peterson, our Ravens host. Now, this is a spot here where Steelers fans keep an eye on Venga Iwane here. I know the Baltimore Ravens really want a guard. And just so you guys know, I actually was on the phone with Trader Joey about trading down from number 11. He might be trying to stick it to me here by taking the player that we might be picking at 21. But no, he goes wide receiver. Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, another receiver off the board. And the top 3 guys in this class are off the board by pick 14. By the way, guys, if you're putting in Super Chats, just so you know, we're going to get to all the Super Chats whenever we get a break or at the very latest at the end of the show. If you Super Chat, we will get to your question, your comment, whatever it is, by the end of the program. Now, Steelers fans, looking at the wide receivers here. This is the top guys available. KC Concepcion, according to Tom Downey. We got Omar Cooper Jr., who's actually the number 1 guy on my board at this point. Denzel Boston, Jeremy Bernard from Alabama is still available. And if you guys want to take a look at the top guards available, Venga Iwane is still available. Chase Basantis, personally, I'm lower on Chase Basantis. But then you got Emmanuel Pregnon and Kalen Rutledge also available. I think the only guy you'd really consider taking at 21 on this list is Venga Iwane. However, I think that there's still a tackle on the board that could be your starting left guard right away, and that's Caden Proctor out of Alabama. So I think, Caleb is going to be somebody that we maybe consider here. And our pick here at number 15 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have decided to stick and pick. Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher from Auburn, is heading to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they need a number 1 pass rusher, and Keldrick Falk can't rush the passer. So that is probably the worst pick of this first round, if I'm being completely honest with you. But just a little bit of a recap here while we wait for pick number 16 with the New York Jets. Fernando Mendoza went to the Las Vegas Raiders at number 1. Caleb Downs, in a surprise, goes to the New York Jets at number 2. David Bailey with a trade up. Kansas City goes and gets their premier edge rusher. Sonny Styles, the linebacker from Ohio State, goes to the Tennessee Titans. Jeremiah Love goes to the New York Football Giants at number 5. Cowboys trade up for Arvell Reese at number 6. Excuse me. They get their next Micah Parsons, perhaps. Then Reuben Bain Jr. goes to the Miami Dolphins at number 7. Carnell Tate, the first receiver, off the board at 8. Francis Mauanoa to the Cardinals at 9. Mansour Delane, the first corner, off the board at 10. Makai Lemon to the Commanders at number 11. By the way, Steelers fans, even if I didn't take a receiver there, I'm not even sure if Lemon would have made it to us at number 21. I think that the Rams might have taken him. I know how much Jackson Durham loves him some Makai Lemon. So, I think either way, the Steelers wouldn't have that option. But Jordan Tyson going to the Baltimore Ravens, Keldrick Falk to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then here at pick 16, Akeem Messidor, the edge rusher from Miami, going to the New York Jets. They decide, I kind of like this play from GM Dilly over there in New York, where he decides to go with the edge rusher second. I think that's a pretty darn good first round for the New York Jets. Now we're at pick number 17 with the Detroit Lions. And it looks like we have a pick at 17. Caden Proctor, the tackle from Alabama, is off the board. And now it's kind of nervous time in terms of Venga Iwane, who we got a couple picks left, but we do have a trade. Here at number 18, the Vikings have traded for Dexter Lawrence. Marshall Green, our host of the Giants channel, has traded Dexter Lawrence to the Minnesota Vikings in exchange for pick 18 and pick number 94. That is a massive haul for the Minnesota Vikings to give up. But
is this for Vega? Maybe?
I think this could be for Venga. The Giants are in need of a starting guard. They just took Jeremiah Love. I'm trying to think who else could this be for, and I think it's going to be for Venga Iwane here, Steelers fans, unfortunately. We're still waiting for the pick from Marshall Green and the Giants Now crew. Looks like it's about to come in. And it is Venga Iwane from Penn State. Good trade up here for the New York Giants, getting the top offensive lineman on my board. I was hoping he was going to fall to 21, but he's off the board. So the top 3 receivers are off the board. The top guard is off the board. Caden Proctor's off the board. Spencer Fano's off the board. This is turning up to be a not so terrific board for us here, Steelers fans, at number 21. And we're now at pick number 19 with the Carolina Panthers. And we'll see if they go wide receiver here. Because we got the Cowboys at number 20.
No, they traded with the Browns.
Oh, so the Browns have picked 20 as well?
Yeah, they have
Gotcha. I didn't see those trade details.
Yeah, sorry.
Because
the Browns have, just to recap here, since the great crash. To recap some of the trades, the Cowboys traded up to the 6th overall pick, receiving a second round and a first, or traded both their firsts in this round.
So we'll see what But here's the thing. Cleveland might be cucking us for Omar Cooper Jr. at 20.
Man, this is a bad board right now. Do we just
Both Carolina and Cleveland
pick
could pick receivers. And for the people in Steelers telling me to trade up, I have to have the trade already worked out before the draft. We can't do live trading. I have to have a framework worked out before the draft begins, and I don't have a trade worked out with either of these teams coming up. So at this point, we just got to hope that and we can't trade back either. I have to have a trade back scenario, and I don't have one.
So the pick is in. Dylan Thieneman.
Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon, comes off the board for Carolina here. So we'll see what Cleveland does. They already took their tackle in Spencer Fano. The two positions that they're kind of expected to address were wide receiver and tackle. Since they've already taken their tackle, could this be for Ty Simpson? I highly doubt it because J.O.D., our Browns host, loves Shedeur Sanders. He thinks he's the second coming. So I'm guessing this will be for a wide receiver. The question is which one? Does he take...
I think he takes KC here.
I'm hoping he takes KC. So those are the top players available. KC is technically Tom's top receiver still available. But listen, man, like I've said on Steelers Talk for weeks, I'd be okay taking KC Concepcion or Denzel Boston at 21 if it came down to it. All right, the pick is in, and it's going to be Omar Cooper Jr. So we got fucked out of Makai Lemon by myself and the Commanders. Then Venga got taken at 18. Then Omar Cooper Jr. gets taken at 20. So we are currently on the board here, guys. The top options available for the Steelers, I would say there's no guard that I would want to take at this spot. You could go Emmanuel McNeil-Warren at safety. You could go KC Concepcion. Or you could take Denzel Boston. So those are the three players that I am currently considering, but there is going to be a little bit of a break here, guys. All right, so Steelers fans, we have a little bit of time to think about this pick here at pick number 21. And we got prize picks here, Ponzi. Is that right? Super chats. All right, so let's catch up on some supers while we discuss who we want to take here at number 21. Ponzi will get those up on screen here momentarily. We got 2 minutes till our pick. I'm going to tell you right now, I think my pick here, guys, is probably going to be KC Concepcion. Now, is it maybe a little bit early for him? Maybe, but like he's got everything that the Steelers need. He can be your starting slot receiver on day one of the best separators in the draft this year. He's awesome after the catch. That's important for a guy that's going to be catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. He brings an element to this wide receiver room that they don't have. So I really like. Or do I go Denzel Boston here? Because if you get Boston, you've got three huge receivers, and Pittman is a really good slot receiver. I actually think Pittman is best in the slot at this point in his career. And we can just play nasty with those guys. But with KC, I get some special team stuff. So this is a tough call for me. I still got some time here. All right, super chat here from Hunter. If you want to read it here, Ponzi.
Considering the high cost of top receivers in the NFL, do you think the Steelers should prioritize drafting a receiver over a guard in the first round to maximize value in a rookie contract? We're about to find out.
We have no guards to pick from. All the guards that I was considering here at this pick are currently gone. So, for me, yeah, I just submitted our pick. You guys will see it here in a second. I think at this particular situation, like if you don't have your top three guard prospects on the board, I think wide receiver is probably the pick. I think guard is probably the higher priority because you already have your top two receivers, and you need a starting left guard. And, I think that there's a very good group of wide receivers that are available on day 2. And with this pick, I'm going to take KC Concepcion, the wide receiver from Texas A&M, a complimentary piece to add to Michael Pittman Jr. and DK Metcalf. Great yak threat. Really good special teamer as well. He's going to be able to replace Calvin Austin III as this team's punt returner on day 1. Maybe the board didn't fall exactly the way that we wanted it to, but I think that this is a very good football player that you're getting at a decent price tag. And if he's as good as I think that he could be, if he cleans up the drops, which, might be a big if, but I think that, drops are something that can be fixed. I think that this guy could be a really special player and, have a guy that can have a legitimate role inside the Pittsburgh Steelers' offense here in 2026, no matter who is the starting quarterback. I think that he's complementary with DK Metcalf and with Michael Pittman Jr. He can play inside or out as well, so you still have that versatility that Mike McCarthy likes. And I think what, kind of put him over the top here over Denzel Boston for me is the true speed and yak ability that he brings to the table, which is important. But also the special team stuff that he's going to be able to bring day 1 here in Pittsburgh. So I think that this would be a fine pick. Would I rather have Makai Lemon, Omar Cooper Jr., Jordan Tyson, Venga Iwane, Spencer Fano? You bet I would like that more than KC Concepcion. But I think that this is a very, very solid pick and a very good start to this mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now we are at pick number 23. Or whatever the pick was at 22. The Chargers took T.J. Parker, the edge from Clemson, with the number 22 overall selection, and now Chase Sr. and Eagles Now is on the clock. Ponzi, what are your thoughts on our first-round picks here?
I know it's going to be considered a little bit of a reach.
Put yourself on screen.
Put
yourself on screen.
I know it's going to be considered here a little bit of a reach here, but I think, the drops do concern me, but I think, you have to get a wide receiver at this point, and there's just no guards left. The way the board felt, kind of similar to our fan-led mock draft, which we published earlier, it was just the way the board felt, you had to go with this. Because at the end of the day, you couldn't risk trading back and someone picking him. Because I think either, the Eagles maybe could have considered it, which their pick is now in, and they pick Max. I'm just not going to say
Maxie Honiger, the offensive tackle from Arizona State. That's an Eagles type of pick. It's a trench player. Howie Roseman loves picking trench players, and he is so gifted. This kind of reminds me of the Jordan Mailata pick, where they took him and they kind of developed him behind the scenes, and he was a super talented guy. This kind of has shades of that, where you can kind of mold him behind an aging Lane Johnson, and he could maybe be their future right tackle. So I like that pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. And now the Cleveland Browns are back on the clock here at number 24 with J.O.D., and we'll see who they use their third first-round draft selection with.
I mean, J.O.D. has had himself a pretty nice draft to this point.
Yeah, Spencer Fano, Omar Cooper Jr., that's a really – I would have loved to have either one of those players in black and gold. Perhaps I should. I did try to put some frameworks in place for a trade up from 21. There was just nothing that really, came up that was beneficial for the Steelers, in my opinion. So I'm perfectly fine taking KC Concepcion where we did, and I think that he's going to be your starting slot receiver immediately and be your starting punt returner, and he's going to have a very defined role in Mike McCarthy's offense, not only in his rookie season, but, in the future. He might be a bigger version of Jalen Waddle. That's what he kind of gets compared to. So if you're getting a Jalen Waddle-esque wide receiver at 21, that is a very, very good pick, in my opinion. Monroe Freeling, another tackle coming off the board here. So not only do you get Fano, but you get Freeling and Omar Cooper Jr. That is a really, really good first round for Joey O'Donohue and the Cleveland Browns.
Wow, they get more draft capital. If you missed earlier when we were talking about the trades, they traded with the Cowboys, and they received, pick 12 and 20, which good trade for them.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, that means the Cowboys get a second round pick as well.
All right,
Chicago's Bears pick is in.
The Bears pick is in. So we'll get that up on screen once we have it. And, man, this is if this works out, it's a fantastic pick. It's Jermod McCoy, the corner out of Tennessee. There's a report from Tony Pauling this week that McCoy had some teams have flagged him with what they've designated as a degenerative knee condition. So that will certainly be a risk. But man, McCoy, if he works out and he can stay healthy, he might be the best corner in this draft. I think his film is better than Mansour Delane's. McCoy's film from 2024 is unbelievable. Obviously didn't play in 2025, but if Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen and crew here in Chicago, find themselves a gem here, that could be an absolute steal at number 25 for the Chicago Bears.
I mean, I definitely agree. Some people have him as the best corner. This 2024 tape is unbelievable, but obviously injury concerns. I mean, we saw that with Will Johnson.
Yep. Okay. So just a recap here as the picks continue to come in. Jeremiah Love went to the New York Giants at 5. Arvell Reese to the Cowboys at 6. Ruben Bain to the Dolphins at 7. Carnell Tate to the Saints at number 8. Francis Mauanoa, the tackle out of Miami, going to Arizona. Mansour Delane to the Bengals at 10. Makai Lemon to the Commanders at number 11. Then Spencer Fano goes to the Cleveland Browns. Kendon Sadiq goes to the Los Angeles Rams. Jordan Tyson goes to Trader Joey's Baltimore Ravens. Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher from Auburn, going to Tampa. Akeem Mesidor, edge rusher from Miami, going to the New York Jets. Caden Proctor going to the Lions. Venga Iwane, Marshall Green traded up and snatched him before we could grab him. Dylan Thieneman, a safety from Oregon, going to Carolina. Omar Cooper Jr., one pick before the Steelers. F Trader Joey, man. Or F, I guess he's not Trader Joey, but FJOD. Then we got KC Concepcion, perfectly good with that. Then we got TJ Parker, edge out of Clemson, going to the Chargers. Yuck. Then Maxi Honicher going to the Eagles at 23, with Monroe Freeling going to the Browns at 24, Jermod McCoy at 25, and Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech.
Smitty knows ball.
Smitty making the pick for the Buffalo Bills, and he gets Jacob Rodriguez. One of my favorite players in this entire class, Ponzi. I would not be completely shocked if he ends up being a first-round pick this year, and obviously Smitty agrees with that. So we're waiting for Chase Sr. here at pick number 27.
Interesting board for the 49ers here. Look at the best available here. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, and it is in. Pick is in.
Picks in here at 27. Emmanuel McNeil Warren still on the board. Chris Johnson, Caleb Lomu, and then Denzel Boston is what's left here. And Emmanuel McNeil Warren, good value there for San Francisco. The safety from Toledo off the board. And now Jeremy Chuggs and the Houston Texans are on the board at number 28.
Just to recap our trade.
And now we have a trade at number 28.
So we'll be the Patriots on the clock.
New England Patriots will be moving up from 31 to 28, and they'll be giving up a fourth rounder in order to do so at 125. Okay. So we'll see who the Patriots have in mind here. I'm guessing it's Denzel Boston.
Yeah, I mean,
who else would this be for?
Yeah, I think this is wide receiver all the way.
Yeah, I think this has got to be receiver. Yeah. I think that's right. I think it's going to be receiver.
Because I don't think Bernard gets picked right here. It's way too early for him. I just think Boston's probably the best available here.
Yeah, I think Boston's the only guy that's worth taking in the first round at this point. So if the Patriots are moving up to replace, their number one receiver spot, obviously they can't get A.J. Brown because we had a trade before this draft even started where A.J. Brown was sent to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Devontae Adams and a second-round pick. There were the trade details of that. So the Patriots not getting A.J. Brown in this scenario, so I'm guessing they're really prioritizing going up and getting a receiver of some kind.
Wow.
No, they're taking a tackle. Are they moving Will Campbell? What is Alper doing?
What is Alper doing?
I don't even think Caleb Lomu's the best tackle on the board at this point.
What are you doing, Alper?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. That's not the pick I would have made. But especially in a trade-up situation, you could have stayed put and probably got him at 31.
Yeah, like it just makes me wonder what his thought process there. I mean, I think Makai Lemon was the third best or fourth best player available on our board. Yeah, he was 28.
Just so everyone is aware that's watching the stream, we are currently live on 2 different Chat Sports channels. We are live on Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, and we are live on the Commanders Report by Chat Sports, both presented by Prize Picks. With the Commanders, we traded down from number 7 to number 11, and the Commanders took wide receiver out of USC, Makai Lemon. The Pittsburgh Steelers stuck in pick at number 21, and the Steelers took KC Concepcion to be their pick at number 21. And that ends up being the pick in real life, Ponzi. I'm actually really happy about that pick. He's a great complementary piece. He can play inside or out. Obviously a smaller guy, but he brings a lot of speed to the table, some really good route running, lots of separation, and special teams stuff as well. And special teams, Ponzi, is more important than ever because of the kickoff rules now. So bringing a guy like KC Concepcion helps this team in more ways than one. I know Steelers fans wanted Venga or Makai Lemon or Jordan Tyson or Omar Cooper Jr., but sometimes it just doesn't go exactly the way that you wanted it to go, right? Okay. Colton Hood is the pick at number 29. I kind of figured that would be the pick. I know Jackson Durham really likes him some Colton Hood, and honestly, it's a great fit for Kansas City. I think that has a realistic chance of actually happening. But here we go, man. We just got a couple more picks in the first round. We got Dolphins here at 30, Texans at 31, and the Seahawks at 32.
Dolphins pick is in. Wow. Okay.
And the Dolphins are going to take a corner here, Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. I really like Chris Johnson. I think that he could be a number 1 corner in this league someday. I really like what he does in off coverage, which is what Jeff Hafley's going to run there in Miami. I like that pick for the Miami Dolphins. They end up with, Miami Hurricane Ruben Bain at number 7. And then they also end up with San Diego State corner Chris Johnson. Their defense just got a lot better there, Mr. Ponzi.
I think, exactly what they need. Young players who are going to be, developed and match up their timeline of trying to get back into the playoffs.
Now, let's see what Houston does here. Because this might be an interesting pick.
Their pick is in.
Could they go guard? No, they're going to go defensive line here. They lost Tim Settle this offseason. He ended up going to the Washington Commanders. They're replacing him here with Caden McDonald, defensive tackle from Ohio State.
That's a good pick there.
All right, Steelers fans, it's time for a move. We are officially moving up to number 32 overall to get an additional first-round pick. And when I look at the guard situation right now, there is a guard sitting there that I don't think is that far off from Venga Ioane. I think he's not as good as Venga, but I think as somebody that's a plug-and-play starting left guard in this league.
Trade alert.
Now, we're giving up quite a bit to go get him, all right? We're giving up, our second-round pick, our third-round pick, or one of our third-round picks, and then one of our fourth-round picks. But I think that this is a position that's too important. We got to get this right. So we're going to go and get a guard here. And I'm going to go ahead and take Emmanuel Pregnon, the guard from Oregon, who I absolutely love. I think that he is a day one starting left guard in this league. And, he doesn't give up pressures. He's a good run blocker. He does everything that we want in that starting left guard. And, this is a position that I can't afford to get wrong. So I'm not going to take the risk of, Kalen Rutledge not being there at 53. I'm not going to take the risk of these guys that I would take at 53 not being there. So I'm going to go and get a really premium player at this position. This is a pick that Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy can make. They can do it, and they can just set it and forget it, because Emmanuel Pregnon is going to get a second contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm that confident in him. This is very close to sure thing. This is a position that very rarely busts in terms of first-round picks. And I think that Pregnon is a plug-and-play starting left guard in this league. You pair him up with KC Concepcion in the first round, and these two picks take care of your two biggest needs in the NFL draft this year. Obviously, you still have 2 third-round picks. You still got, a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick, a couple a trio of 7s and a 6. So, is it a big price tag? Absolutely. But I think that this player is absolutely worth it, and let's go and win a lot of football games here in 2026. All right, guys, grade the pick for me here, A, B, C, D, or F, with this trade up to go get Emmanuel Pregnon at number 32 and pair him up with KC Concepcion. I think that this would be a very, very good. Somebody thought we were taking Drew Aller. LOL. This Chat Sports chat is going nuts. Plus, guys, we get the 5th-year option on this guy. So for a position and a player that I feel really, really confident about getting that second contract, like this is something that I feel really, really good about as the GM of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, we can still address safety in the 3rd round here with one of our 3rd-round picks. We can still address defensive line. There's still plenty of opportunities to address our other needs, but we really hit a home run here with addressing our first 2 needs here in the 1st round. All right, is this Prize Picks or is this GLD? All right. So while we wait for the start of the 2nd round of the NFL draft here, guys, where neither of our teams have any draft picks here, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. With playoff basketball finally here, there's no better time to cash in during the playoffs this season. The Prize Picks app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. If you're a hoops guy, you can go with points, rebounds, assists, blocks, or 3-pointers. And if you're more of a seam head, you could choose hits, home runs, or strikeouts, or you could even look ahead to next year's football season as well with futures projections such as Puka Nakua's receiving touchdowns or passing yards for quarterbacks like Dak Prescott or Caleb Williams. If you were to do the same exact projection, you guys can put in $20 right now and get $120 if you get all 3 correct. So one thing that I absolutely love, guys, is the new social feeds feature where you can share prize picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at @CSperry to see all of my lineups. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks today. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app today. And a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's live show. So just a little bit of a recap here. As we await the start of the 2nd round, neither the Steelers or the Washington Commanders have a 2nd round selection going into this round. So I think that we'll be just discussing a lot about the players that we did select here for these teams in the 1st round. But Fernando Mendoza went number 1 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Caleb Downs, the first surprise of this mock draft, went to the Jets at number 2. David Bailey went number 3 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Sonny Styles, the linebacker from Ohio State, went to Tennessee. Jeremiah Love went to the Giants at number 5 to pair up with Cam Scadaboo. That is a nasty running back duo. Arvell Reese, the edge from Ohio State, going to Dallas, trading up with the Cleveland Browns. Reuben Bain, the edge from Miami, going to the Miami Dolphins. Sticking in South Beach, you got Carnell Tate, first receiver off the board to the New Orleans Saints. Francis Mawanoa, the tackle from Miami, going to the Arizona Cardinals. Then Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU, going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Makai Lemon. What's that? We have a trade here? All right. Kyle Pitts is heading to the Houston Texans in exchange for pick 59 and a 7th round pick. So the Falcons will have pick 59. Kyle Pitts is now a Houston Texan, apparently, and I think Moose was just completely desperate to get another pick. So I think that's probably what this is. So not very likely at all that this happens in real life. I think our Falcons host Moose just wanted another draft pick to have more fun. here during this mock draft. But back to the recap here, because we took Makai Lemon for our Commanders audience at number 11 after trading down. We got an additional third-round pick. So both the Commanders and the Steelers have 2 third-round picks, even though neither team has a second-round pick here. But I think that this is a pretty good trade down for the Washington Commanders. I think, getting either Carnell Tate or Makai Lemon would be a good pick for the Washington Commanders. You got to address the future at that position, especially with Brandon Ayuk and his future a little bit up in the air right now. Terry McLaurin, it's possible that he could be traded next offseason because his cap hit, spikes a lot. So I think that makes a lot of sense. That's not Makai Lemon there, Ponzi. That's Jordan Tyson. I think that's probably who you wanted to put up there, right? Yep. And I think that he's a perfect fit for what David Blough wants. He wants that guy that's going to eat a lot of the targets from the slot, somebody that's going to be tough, somebody that's going to run block. Also, Makai Lemon said that he would love to catch passes from Jaden Daniels at the NFL Combine this year. This just seems like something that makes a ton of sense. And if you pair Makai Lemon up with Terry McLaurin and Brandon Ayuk, if he ends up becoming a Commander this offseason, and Brandon Ayuk is as good as he once was this year, dude, that could be the best wide receiver trio in football with Jaden Daniels throwing them the football. So I think that is a really good move by the Washington Commanders. We're going to be picking twice for Washington in round 3, but now we can continue on here as we actually have gotten started with our second round where Denzel Boston is going to the New York Jets at number 33, so Boston ends up being the first pick on day 2. But then Kenyon Sadiq goes to the Los Angeles Rams, Jordan Tyson to the Baltimore Ravens, Keldrick Falk to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Akeem Mesidor going to the Jets at 16, Caden Proctor to the Detroit Lions at 17. Marshall Green, that sly devil, moved up ahead of us at number 18 to take Venga Iwane. Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon, going to Carolina at 19. Omar Cooper Jr., J.O.D. stole my guy at number 20. But it's okay because we still got KC Concepcion, who I really, really like, out of Texas A&M. T.J. Parker, the edge from Clemson, goes 22 to the Chargers. Maxie Honicher, the offensive tackle from Arizona State, becomes their new Jordan Mailata there in Philly. Monroe Freeling, double dip at tackle for J.O.D. and the Cleveland Browns. Then Jermod McCoy goes to the Chicago Bears at 25. Jacob Rodriguez goes to the Bills at number 26. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, good value there for the 49ers at 27. Caleb Lomu, Patriots traded up to go get Caleb Lomu at 28. Don't necessarily love that, but then Colton Hood, cornerback from Tennessee, the other one goes to Kansas City. Chris Johnson goes to Miami at number 30. Caden McDonald goes to Houston at 31. And then we took Manuel Pregnon to be our new starting left guard to pair with KC Concepcion as our 2 first-round picks in this year's NFL draft. And then Malachi Lawrence just went off the board to the Arizona Cardinals, the super athletic edge rusher out of UCF. And now Blake Miller coming off the board here to Tennessee. Awesome value for the Tennessee Titans, in my opinion. All right, Blake Miller has a chance, in my opinion, to be, maybe the best tackle in this class, like pure tackle. Okay, he's got long arms. He's got a ton of experience. He's athletic. He's got good production. He's never hurt. There's so much to like about Blake Miller. And for me personally, if you're asking at home, if you're a Steelers fan, why didn't we take Blake Miller? Well, I don't really feel like tackle is a huge need for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I like the situation with Dylan Cook and Broderick Jones. I'd be open to taking a tackle on day 3 to kind of compete and provide depth. But for me, Emmanuel Pregnon, is a really, really highly graded offensive guard prospect. That's a plug-and-play starter at left guard. And I think that he's going to be a stud for us, and I'm so glad we made that move to trade up to number 32 and get that extra year on his rookie contract, by the way. So far, the Titans, pretty decent draft for them. Sonny Styles, their new captain of their defense, with Robert Saleh going there to Nashville, and then you get Blake Miller at 35. Really like that deal. All right, so the Raiders are on the pick at number 36. By the way, I also had a trade up in place with the Raiders. I just felt like I needed Pregnon, though, man. So the Raiders are going to take Kristen Miller, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. I know that Mitch wanted to get Caden McDonald here, and what he told me was we were going to do a trade-up here where the Steelers would move up to 36. That was one of our trade-up plans. And if Denzel Boston or Caden McDonald was there, he was going to take those players. If not, and if there's a player that we wanted as the Steelers, we would have moved up. Now, is it possible that we could have waited until 36 and still got Emmanuel Pregnon? Yeah, it's possible. Okay, but I still would have had to give up 53 and 76 to make the deal happen. So at the end of the day, in terms of this mock draft, it's not going to matter all that much to make sure I got the guy that I wanted in Emmanuel Pregnon in the first round. Not to mention, I get an extra year of Pregnon on his rookie contract by moving up into the first round instead of the early second.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you really want your guy, and this is the philosophy, obviously, we're doing this as a mock, but if you want your guy, and this is my message really to Omar Khan, if you want your guy, trade up for him. You have the capital this year.
Yes, you have the capital. So if you have guys that you want, go get them. And I did try and trade up into the teens. Like, I offered all the teams from 15 to 20, and they all shut me down. Did
you offer the Commanders?
I did not offer the Commanders because I don't think the Commanders would go down to 21. All right? But, I have to be independent here. I have to be the GM of the Commanders and the GM of the Steelers, and it's not like I can armbar, the Commanders GM to do my bidding.
Or the Steelers GM to give you more
I got to do what's in the best interest of each team, right? So is it a lot to give up in terms of total picks? Sure. But, if it means that you get two awesome players to fill your two biggest needs that you absolutely need to address in this draft, I think that it's a good move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And by the way, we still got 2/3. All right, we still got one of our fourth rounders as well. So there's still picks in the middle rounds here where we can supplement some of these other kind of secondary needs that the Steelers need to address here.
So, I feel like, obviously the fifth-year option also is worth going up, as there's another guard that goes off the board here.
By the way, who did the Giants take?
They picked Peter Woods.
Peter Woods.
After trading Dexter Lawrence.
To replace Dexter Lawrence.
Another Clemson defensive lineman.
So I don't know if I love that at all.
It's bad move in my opinion.
I mean, first of all, he's not going to play Dexter Lawrence's position. If you wanted someone to replace Dexter Lawrence, I think you probably go get Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. Especially at this point with Caden McDonald off the board, but yeah, I don't love that pick from Marsh. If he's expecting Woods to replace Dexter Lawrence, good luck with that. He's undersized. He's much more of a 3-tech, 5-tech guy than a true nose tackle. Definitely doesn't have the size to play that position. So I don't know if the Giants have another option at nose tackle that they like, but if that's a replacement for Dexter Lawrence, I think they're going to be disappointed in that.
What do you think about this pick?
C.J. Allen to the Cowboys.
I have words.
I'm not the biggest fan of C.J. Allen. He's not great in coverage, but he is a cerebral player. He's intelligent. He can anticipate some things. He's really good as a run defender. I think he's a plug-and-play guy that, is not going to be great in pass coverage, but he's going to be, a serviceable starter in this league. I don't see a ton of, star-level upside with him, but, I guess it's fine if you're desperate for a linebacker.
I kind of feel like, this is just a very much you're replacing a block of concrete with just a brick, because the Cowboys had Kenneth Murray and a couple other linebackers who were decent at run defense, just sucked in pass, and so now you're just replacing a guy who is good in run defense, great in run defense, arguably, sucks at pass coverage. So kind of a lateral move in my opinion. I'm not a big Allen fan as well.
All right, let's do a little bit of a recap here as we continue on here in the second round. Neither of our teams have picks. I don't have any trade-ups in the works, so I think that's probably going to be it for trades for us here today, guys. We traded down with the Commanders, got our guy in Makai Lemon, and we added
go over those trades real quick just to show them one more time.
Sure, why not? We traded down. We got an additional third-round pick to move from 7 to 11. Listen, man, I probably would have taken either Makai or Carnell Tate at that number 7 spot with all the other guys that I would have taken above them already gone. So the fact that we're trading down 4 spots to get a guy that I would have been fine with at 7, and we get to add a third-round pick here, Commanders fans, I think that that's a pretty darn good deal for us. And obviously Miami was happy with it because they got Ruben Bain. So I think that that's a good pick for the Washington Commanders, and I'm going to stand by that decision. Then with the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously you take KC Concepcion at number 21 to be your new slot receiver and your new return man. Then we traded up into the first round to get who I think will be the left guard of the future here in Pittsburgh, in Emmanuel Pregnon, trading our second-round pick, one of our thirds, and then one of our fourths to go get him. And I think that this is the heartbeat of this draft class, okay? Like the other picks at safety that are coming up, or defensive line, or quarterback, or cornerback, like any of these other positions that we take in the middle rounds, none of those guys are going to be expected to have as big of roles with this team this year than these two are going to be asked to have. KC would be asked to be one of this team's starting receivers, all right, and its primary return man. And Emmanuel Pregnon will be on the field every single offensive snap as this team's starting left guard. So I wanted to make sure that I got really quality players at both of those positions, wide receiver and guard. I was willing to part ways with, these 3 draft picks here. And I understand the cost of giving up, the amount of draft picks that you have in this draft for this, but I think it's worth the price tag. I really do think so. And if the Steelers end up doing this, like if they end up doing exactly what I did today, next week during the NFL draft, and they take Concepcion at 21 and then Pregnon at 32, I'm going to be more than happy with that haul. And even if they have to give up their second-round pick, even if they have to give up one of their thirds and one of their fourths to make it happen, I think it's a good deal for this team and sets a good foundation for the first year of the Mike McCarthy era here in Pittsburgh. Now, R. Mason Thomas just went off the board here to the Cincinnati Bengals. Not a bad pick there for Cincinnati, I should say. They ended up taking Mansour Delane at corner on round 1. Honestly, I don't think they need corner. I honestly don't love that pick for Cincinnati because, you've got DJ Turner, and I thought Dax Hill played pretty well on the outside last year for them. Unless they're going to play Delane in the slot, I don't know if I love that pick for them. But I guess it's fine. He's a good football player, so they're adding a good player there. But, yeah, man, that's where we're at. Okay. So let's go through the entire draft here, Ponzi. So just to recap what's been done so far. David Bailey went 3, then Sonny Styles went 4. Can I see Sonny Styles, please? I'm trying to see who's still available here. Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to get the big board?
No, that's fine. Then next up here at number 5 was Jeremiah Love. Then you had Arvell Reese to the Cowboys in a trade-up situation. Then you had Ruben Bain going to the Miami Dolphins. Then Carnell Tate going to the New Orleans Saints. Francis Mauigoa was the pick for the Cardinals at 9. Mansour Delane went off the board for the Bengals at 10. Makai Lemon off the board to the Commanders at 11, if we can update the graphic there, Ponzi. Then Spencer Fano goes to the Utah, or not, doesn't go to Utah. The Utah offensive tackle goes to Cleveland there at number 12. Kenyon Sadiq goes to the Rams at 13. Jordan Tyson from Arizona State goes to Baltimore at 14. Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher from Auburn, goes to Tampa. Akeem Mesidor from Miami goes to the New York Jets. Caden Proctor, the tackle from Alabama, goes to Detroit. Venga Iwane goes to the Giants at 18. Dylan Thieneman goes to Carolina at 19. Omar Cooper Jr. comes off the board to Cleveland at number 20. Then KC Concepcion goes to us at the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 21. TJ Parker comes off the board at number 22. Maxie Honicher goes off the board to Philadelphia at 23. Monroe Freeling to the Browns. So they double dip at tackle in Cleveland. I think that's a good strategy for them. Jermod McCoy goes to Chicago at 25. Jacob Rodriguez, one of the surprises of the first round, actually, goes to the Bills at 26. Then Emmanuel McNeil-Warren to the 49ers at 27. Caleb Lomu in a trade-up situation for New England. They get maybe their left tackle, and they move Will Campbell to guard. Is that the plan there? I think it's kind of what I would do if I were them, if that's the pick. Then Colton Hood, the other cornerback from Tennessee, goes to Kansas City. Chris Johnson comes off the board to Miami at number 30. Caden McDonald from Ohio State goes to Houston, and then the Steelers take Emmanuel Pregnon out of Oregon at number 32. Then in the second round here, Denzel Boston has gone to the New York Jets. What a haul for Dilly, by the way, getting Caleb Downs, Akeem Messidor, and Denzel Boston. That is a hell of a first couple picks there for the New York Jets, if you ask me. But then we go back here to the Arizona Cardinals, where they took Malachi Lawrence. Then Blake Miller goes to the Tennessee Titans. And then Kristen Miller, the defensive tackle from Georgia, goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Peter Woods goes to the New York Giants. Kalen Rutledge, the guard out of Georgia Tech, off the board there at 38. I think what Jeremy was thinking there at 38 was that he was probably wanting to go get Emmanuel Pregnon at 38, and we kind of got in front of him there. So Kalen Rutledge and C.J. Allen goes to Dallas. D'Angelo Pons from Indiana goes to the Arizona Cardinals. R. Mason Thomas goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's see here. Where is R. Mason Thomas? I'm just putting together a mock draft simulation here so I know who's still on the board for these teams here when we come up in round 3. Avion Terrell goes to the Saints, and then Chase Basantis from Texas A&M goes to the Miami Dolphins. And now we're at pick 44 with the New York Jets. Let's see what the Jets do, because they've had an awesome draft to this point, man. I got to say it. Dilly has knocked this one out of the park. And now Brandon Cisse, the cornerback from South Carolina, he's kind of green. So it makes sense that he's going to gang green here. I like the pick. I'm not going to lie. I think Cisse, I don't know, man. Here's the thing. I don't love him in man coverage, and the Jets run a lot of man. So I don't know if I love that pick, but I'll tell you what, I'd prefer him over Azareye'h Thomas. Thomas has terrible speed, can't keep up with faster receivers. Cisse at least has better, adequate NFL cornerback speed. So probably my least favorite pick from Dilly and the Jets in this one, but I mean, it's not my team, so.
Ty Simpson's falling.
And Ty Simpson is falling, ladies and gentlemen. Good thing I don't have pick 53, because I feel like I'd be obligated to take him if he fell that far.
If he fell to 85, is that our next pick?
I think probably a lot of people probably thought we were trading up for Ty Simpson at 32. Like when people first saw that trade, I think people's first inclination was, oh, he's trading up for quarterback.
Yeah.
But nope. I don't think Ty Simpson's a good fit for the AFC North. Small hands, brittle body. Not a lot of experience. So,
Ravens draft Ty Simpson?
yeah, maybe, man. Maybe.
Oh.
So the Ravens are going to take Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt, and I know Trader Joey loves Eli Stowers. Now, I'm a little bit lower on Stowers because he's a receiving-only tight end with a bit of a drop issue. So, that's not a good combination to have.
Likely.
But, he's an awesome route runner. He's a mismatch problem. He's a good player. I don't want to make it seem like I think Eli Stowers stinks. But, they lost Isaiah Likely this offseason. They lost Charlie Kolar. They still have Mark Andrews, but he's getting older, so they need maybe a future at that position. And now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock at 46. All right, man. Well, in terms of round 3 strategy for these teams, obviously we addressed wide receiver for the Commanders in round 1. So I would say some of the positions that we're probably going to be looking at are... Let's take a look here. Probably going to be looking at center. Could be looking at corner. Could be looking at safety or defensive line. I would say with the Steelers, we're probably looking at safety. Is probably high up on our list once we get into round 3 here. But then also defensive tackle, potentially quarterback. Quarterback's probably not my favorite avenue. I'd probably rather go day 3 quarterback than day 2 QB. But then linebacker potentially, and maybe corner. So, lots of different ways that we could go. Right now, the best QBs available according to Tom, are Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson, who's still available, Garrett Nussmeier, who's still available, Drew Aller. Listen, man, if Ty Simpson falls to me in round 3 for the Steelers, I got to take him. I got to. Like, it's just too good of a value. Like, he's too good of a player. He's got legitimate starter franchise quarterback level upside. And I'm willing to, I wasn't willing to spend a first round pick on him. If he falls to me in round 3, I'm sorry, Steelers fans, I have to pull that trigger. It's just too good of a value. But I do also want to get a safety of some kind here, so we can take a look at the top safeties available. Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker from Texas, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 46. So right now, best safeties available. Keontae Scott, kind of a safety corner hybrid, is still there. A.J. Halsey from LSU reminds me a lot of Jaquan Brisker, actually, still available. Zakee Wheatley from Penn State is still there, and Bud Clark from TCU is still on the board as well. Jake Goldie just went off the board? Oh, my God. Goldie, however you say his name, dude. Jake Goldie, the linebacker from Cincinnati. I'm not a big fan of Jake Goldie, if I'm being honest with you guys. Lots of upside because of the physical traits, but, man, his film's not great. It's just not. So I think that's probably too early. I don't love that pick, in my opinion, but it's not my pick. So by all means, take him. Take him off the board. Yeah, is it? I don't think so, actually. I think they have another pick here in a couple picks. So Moose, I think this is Moose's first pick of the mock draft because the Falcons don't have a first-round pick, and the Broncos, I don't think, have a first or a second. Is that right? Yeah, the Broncos don't have a first or a second because they traded their first for Jalen Waddle this year. All right, Moose's pick at 48 is in. Now, another thing that I'll point out here, a Chris Brazzell, wide receiver from Tennessee, going to Atlanta. Not a bad pick at all. Not a bad pick at all. Now, when we actually get to the draft, Ponzi, I think there's a pretty good chance that the Steelers will be able to trade up. Because I think what they want to do is they do want to probably go get a guard, either Fano or Venga. I think Venga's probably their number one target right now. Because this is a really good receiver class, and it's not like you're looking for a true number one guy right now. You're looking for a complementary piece to a room that already includes 2 established starters. So for me, that's why I think guard is most likely going to be the pick in round 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I wouldn't be shocked if they trade up to get their guy. And I think right now they would love to trade up into the 15, 16, 17 range to go get either Venga Ioane from Penn State or Spencer Fano, whoever's available during that stretch. Now, I tried to trade up during this mock draft, working the phones the last couple days, but nobody in that 15 to 20 range wanted to trade down, and I felt like trading into the top 15 or top 14, I should say, was going to cost me too much. So A.J. Halsey, safety from LSU, coming off the board here at 49 to the Vikings. So the Vikings have Dexter Lawrence and A.J. Halsey. Pretty good draft for the purple and gold. I'm not going to lie there, Ponzi. I think Seatman's doing a pretty good job over there in Minnesota. But we already have our pick here for Detroit at 50. Derek Moore is staying in the state of Michigan, as he will be going to the Detroit Lions. That's a team that needs a number 2 edge rusher, and I think that he's a pretty good fit alongside Aiden Hutchinson there in that Detroit defense. He's a high-effort player, and he gets after quarterbacks, man. It reminds me a lot of Derek Hall from the Seattle Seahawks. Not like a star-level guy, is not what I would expect him to be, but he can get after QBs. He can cause havoc. I thought he had a really, really good Senior Bowl week. So coming up next year, Panthers, Packers, Seahawks, and Eagles.
Yeah, us at Steelers. And then, so that would have been our pick, but I really like the move to go get Emmanuel Pregnon. And Kevin says, I don't think Pittsburgh would ever give up that much for pick 32. I think if the player's right, they would. I mean, it's another first-round pick, right? Like, it's somebody that you really believe in.
And, I think that this is a player that I really believe in, and you get the extra year on his contract, too. That's another added benefit here. So, you are getting really, really good football players at the two biggest positions of need, at receiver and at left guard. And, you're still going to be able to get good pieces in round 3. You got 2 third-round picks still to go get a safety or some other position, maybe a defensive lineman. You still got a 4th-round pick to maybe use on a quarterback if there's one that you like there. You can still get a corner or a linebacker. Like, there's still plenty of picks to address the rest of your needs. I think that if the right player's there at pick number 32, the Steelers would consider it. And if I'm the Steelers GM, I think Emmanuel Pregnon is worth that kind of capital. To solidify this as one of the best young offensive lines in football over the next several years, with Emmanuel Pregnon at left guard, Zach Frazier at center, Mason McCormick at right guard, and Troy Fautano at right tackle. And then, if Dylan Cook or Broderick Jones, if one of those two guys works out this year, which, Dylan Cook played very well for this team last year, and Broderick had the best year of his career last year before getting injured, I think I feel pretty good about this offensive line situation heading into the year. You got Brock Hoffman as a really good swing interior lineman that can play center or guard if there's an injury. So you got Spencer Anderson as guard depth as well. You've got tackle depth, and whoever loses that left tackle battle can be your swing tackle. I still think the Steelers would consider taking a tackle in the middle rounds to get even more depth as well. So here comes Jeremy Bernard for the Carolina Panthers. Now, Bernard is somebody to keep your eye on in round 2 if the Steelers, are going to draft a receiver in round 2. Because the Steelers have shown a lot of interest in him, had a combine formal meeting with him, top 30 visit. So the Steelers clearly like him a lot. I think that he'd be a really good complementary piece to DK and to Michael Pittman Jr. here in Pittsburgh. But obviously in this scenario, we don't even have our 2nd-round pick, so I'm not sweating it too much. Pick number 52, the Green Bay Packers take Zion Young, the edge from Missouri. I love that pick for Green Bay. Love that pick. I think Zion is a really good football player. Gets after the quarterback, is a good run defender. He's got some good size to him. High motor. I think that it's a good pick, man. So we have a little bit of a break in the action here, guys. We're going to continue on with round 2 here in just a sec. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor today at GLD. Let's be real, guys. Buying men's jewelry nowadays is an absolute nightmare sometimes. Most of the time, it's low-quality junk that snaps after a week, or it's just insanely overpriced, stuff with ridiculous markups because it's a name brand. That's why I rock with GLD. Use code CHAT to get 40% off at GLD.com. GLD has completely changed the game in men's jewelry. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank. And unlike a lot of other companies, GLD only uses real gold. None of that cheap stuff. Every single stone is meticulously hand set, plus their proprietary production process makes sure you're getting the highest quality jewelry possible. You can literally see and feel the difference. I actually have my Steelers pendant here to show you guys where you guys can really see the quality. I don't know if you guys can see the shine on this thing, but I wear this during our Steelers Talk watch parties. I'm going to be wearing it during the NFL draft this year. So you guys know the feeling when you put on a new chain. It just hits different. It elevates your whole fit from the confidence to the compliments to the way you carry yourself. It all changes instantly. And GLD has everything from chains to pendants to rings, earrings, even fully iced out watches. But whatever your style, they've got you covered. And listen, don't just take my word for it. Over 2 million customers and 50,000 five-star reviews back this stuff up. Not to mention it's worn by some of the biggest names out there like Justin Bieber, Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, A$AP Rocky, and a ton more. But the best part is that every single piece from GLD is guaranteed for life. It's literally built to last the rest of your life. So work hard and change the game with GLD today. For a limited time only, new customers get an insane deal. Use code CHAT at 40% off at GLD.com. That's 40% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. And a big thank you to GLD for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk and the Commanders Report. All right, so if you guys want to pick up something for 20% off on our store, Steelers fans, you guys can go chatsports.com/ST Talk. Is that what it is? I was going to say, there's no way it's that. Chatsports.com/ST merch, F Ponzi in the chat. Okay, cool. So for until the end of this mock draft, these t-shirts are going to be available for 20% off, okay? And it's not just the Pittman t-shirts, guys. It's the channel logo t-shirt. It's the Married Into This collection. All of our merch that is on our collection right now is 20% off up until the end of this mock draft. So if you guys want to help support the show, get a piece of merch to help support the channel. It's chatsports.com/stmerch. To go to our website today. And then for our Commanders audience, if you want a Scary Terry McLaurin t-shirt, you guys can get one today. You go into chatsports.com/scary. The same flash sale applies here, 20% off up until the end of this mock draft. Again, that's chatsports.com/scary to pick yours up today. These things are $29.99 retail, so 20% off there. You get a pretty decent discount. They come in 3 different colors, black, red, and white. So if you guys love Scary Terry McLaurin, you want a cool t-shirt that's going to get a ton of compliments, chatsports.com/scary is where you guys can get yours today. All right, we are back, and we are about to get things going again here in the second round. Ty Simpson is still available, which is not going to happen, but nobody wants to take him. And I'm telling you guys this right now. Steelers fans, if he's there in round 3, I have to take him. Okay? He's too good of a quarterback prospect to pass up on in round 3. And I get it. I get the concerns, injury concerns. I get the hand size. But guess what? He's got the same size hands as Will Howard. So, if Simpson's there in round 3, I think that's just too good of a value, and I think we're going to have to pick him because we don't have a future at quarterback as we currently stand. Will Howard might be a future option, but he's a former 6th-round pick. Is he really going to be somebody that's a legitimate future option for this team? If you get handed on a silver platter somebody that I have a first-round grade on, and you have a big need at future at quarterback, it's just something that I'm going to have to pull the trigger on. So we'll see. Our next pick comes up at pick 85. So if he's still there at 85, which I don't think he will be, Ponzi, we still have 30 picks to go. We pretty much have a whole nother round before the Steelers are picking again. That's just too good of a value to pass up on.
I don't. The spot I see him going at is
Arizona?
Probably Arizona at 65. But even then,
yeah, I think
JOD has told me repeatedly he does not like Ty Simpson.
And if he's not going to Arizona, who's pulling the trigger on that? Are the Jets? Maybe?
I don't think they have a pick.
Because if JOD hates Ty Simpson...
Jets don't have a pick in round 3.
The Jets don't have a pick in round... Do they have another pick in round 2? I think they already had both of them, right?
Yeah, Jets are done for the day.
Dude, are we going to land Ty Simpson in round 3?
It's just not realistic, man. It's
not realistic, but if the board falls the way that it's fallen right now, I'm going to gladly take it.
Bo Callahan's falling.
Dude. To get KC Concepcion, Emmanuel Pregnon in the first round and still get Ty freaking Simpson, who could be your future franchise quarterback. In round 3? That's an absolute... that would be unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Pick is in for the Eagles. Keontae Scott.
Keontae Scott, safety from Miami, DB. Older player, but he's an athletic freak, versatile, can play in the slot, can play outside, can play safety. Eagles, they need help in the secondary, and whenever there's an injury, he could just plug and play. So I don't hate that pick for Chase Sr.
And a 4.33 at the combine.
Was that the pick that the Rams had, by the way?
I believe so.
And was that the Devontae pick or the A.J. Brown pick? Just so you guys know, before this mock draft began, the Rams traded for A.J. Brown, and they gave up Devontae Adams and pick 61, so they're coming up here soon. So that was the Eagles' own second rounder. Pick 61 will be the Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown trade pick. Now, just to recap here for our Commanders audience, we've only made 1 pick so far, but we have 2 picks coming up here in round 3 because we traded down for an extra third-round pick for pick 87. I think I've said in the past pick 85. I just got, I got mixed up with the Steelers picks because the Steelers pick at 85. But we get pick 87 to trade down 4 spots, and we still got a player that I think is a perfect fit for this offense and is potentially this team's future number 1 receiver. He reminds me a lot of Jackson Smith and Jigba. A lot of people say he reminds them of Amon-Ra St. Brown as a physical, tough slot wide receiver that gets open all the time. Really solid hands, good after the catch, and Makai Lemon. I think that that's going to be an awesome pick if the Commanders end up doing this and trading down and still getting a Makai Lemon at number 11, but we get 2 additional third-round picks to play with here. And then with the Steelers, obviously we took KC Concepcion in the first round at pick number 21 to be your slot extraordinaire, yak threat, vertical threat, and special teams ace from the return game perspective. Like KC Concepcion, Ponzi, you usually want to go and get a guy in round 1 that's going to fill a specific role for your team right away. He's going to fill multiple roles for this team. He's going to be a vertical threat. He'll be an underneath threat. He'll be special teams threat. And then I think he's got the route running chops and the juice to potentially be one of the premier separators at the NFL level if he can develop a little bit more of the tempoing and the nuance, which is usually important for Aaron Rodgers, which is one of the things that makes me hesitate a little bit taking him, but I still think he's absolutely worth the 21st overall selection. And then you trade up with Seattle. I know it's quite a bit. You're giving up a second-round pick, a third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick, but you get a guy in Emmanuel Pregnon, who I believe is not Venga Iwane, but he's right behind him. All right, like people do not realize that Emmanuel Pregnon might be a top 5 offensive lineman in this class. Just taking out positional value. And guards are becoming more and more valuable in the league, Ponzi. And especially if you got a big need there, I think that the Steelers are going to want to address that. And if I'm the Steelers and Pregnon's still there at 32, I get an extra year on the rookie contract. I think it would be a good move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Caleb Banks, DT from Florida, probably has the biggest upside out of any DT in this class.
With that foot injury, though.
Yeah, he's got the foot issue, which is going to be, a risk. But Jacksonville, a win-now team, is willing to take that risk. Big-bodied guy, 330 pounds with long arms, gets after the quarterback, athletic freak. If he was fully healthy, Ponzi, I think he would probably be a top 20 pick.
I agree.
He is just an absolute monster, but a big guy with foot issues, and it's a recurring foot issue. It's a big, big, big concern. All right. Did I miss any other picks?
Traden Stokes just got picked.
Traden Stokes, cornerback from Arizona, off the board to Chicago as they revamp their secondary. Now, Stokes is listed as a corner. I think he could play safety at the next level as well. Runs in the 4.3s. I think he ran a 4.33 at 190 pounds. So he's somebody that played a lot of nickel for the Arizona Wildcats. Did it at a really high level last year. I think he could play free safety, and he could replace Jaquan Brisker in that defense, who, of course, ended up going to the Pittsburgh Steelers in free agency. So don't hate that pick at all for Chicago. Of course, they just drafted Jermod McCoy in the first round, a little bit of a risk there, but Stokes has the versatility to be a guy that can move around if there's injuries, but definitely. The thing about Stokes, Ponzi, is that he just moves different. His stop-start ability is just unreal. Like, it looks like a video game player out there when he's out there. It's just it's just unreal athleticism that he brings to the table and unreal versatility, and versatility is at a premium in today's NFL.
And the Bears lost a lot of their secondary, so double dipping at secondary is not the end of the world for them. I think that could be a realistic move for them.
Absolutely. Pick number 59 now. Atlanta is on the clock because the San Francisco 49ers just put in their pick, and we are waiting on our software to catch up with us here. So just give us a second.
President Roger.
There it is. Jennings Dunker, the ginger, mulleted, mustachioed. I love this guy, man.
He's awesome.
Now, he's a little top-heavy. He doesn't have terrific balance, but I think that he's going to play a lot better at guard than he is at tackle. A lot of power. Like, he moves people in the run game. So, this is somebody that maybe the Steelers, if they didn't trade up, they could have gotten at 53. But, honestly, the lack of balance, it worries me because Dunker is the type of body type where he should be a tackle, where he's got all the tools that you look for to be a tackle. But why are people saying he's going to be a guard? Because he's not very good at tackle. So, if he's not good at tackle, it's not going to be a guarantee that he's good at guard. There's a little bit of a projection there. I don't know if the Steelers want to take that much of a risk. The Steelers did not meet with Jennings Dunker at any point during this process. So, I don't think that Dunker will be a Pittsburgh Steeler. We'll see. I guess anything's possible, but I still feel good about moving up for Emmanuel Pregnon, who is one of the best offensive linemen in this class, period. Then at pick 59, a good pick here for Atlanta as they take Lee Hunter, who I think has a chance to be the best defensive tackle from this class, Ponzi. He's just an absolute space eater that also brings a little bit of athletic juice into some disruption to the table from the nose tackle position. I don't know if he's going to be like a top 10 level DT in the game at any point in his career, but I think he could be a top 5 nose tackle in the game. And, this is a guy that, can be an every down player. He can play 3 technique. He's got enough disruption to do that on third downs if you want him to do that. But obviously, he's got that space-eating, double-team take-on ability that you want from your nose tackle. So really, really like that pick from Atlanta. I actually have a higher grade on him than Caden McDonald, who went a lot earlier. He went in the first round to Houston in this mock draft scenario. All right, while we're in the second round here, this is a great time to catch up on Super Chats, Ponzi. So we'll try to catch up on some Super Chats here before we get back on the clock. The next pick will be, I believe, Washington at 71. Then we'll have Steelers at 85, Commanders again at 87, Steelers at 99 to finish it. Looks like we have a trade. Oh, never mind. He was putting up a graphic that I thought was a trade. It was just the latest picks. Lee Hunter and Gabe Akis, the edge from Illinois, going to the Chicago Bears. Not a bad pick there. Robert Locke with a 10 says, thanks, Ponzi and Jack, and especially Cassie for everything you do for us. Robert Locke, I appreciate you and your support for this channel. Next up here, Bernard, or is it Hunter? Okay, Hunter Dillman with a 10 says, considering the high cost of top receivers in the NFL, I think we already did this one, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we already did this one. Yeah. $5 from Bernard says, Chris Broussard says he would rather see Will Howard out there than Rodgers. And, he's a Ravens fan. Of course he would want Will Howard out there over Aaron Rodgers, who beat his team twice last year and getting blown out in the playoffs. I mean, I disagree. Would you rather have a 10-7 season and lose in the first round of the playoffs, or would you rather go 5 wins with Will Howard? Like, I get that people are like, oh, we can get a quarterback if we win 4 or 5 games. Steelers fans have not experienced a 4 or 5 win season in recent memory. They now have the NFL record for the most non-losing seasons in a row. Dude, I know a lot of people that, Commanders fans know this. A 5-win season is not fun. A 4-win season is not fun, all right? And, you could say, oh, we can get a quarterback, but, there's no guarantee that quarterback works out, first of all. Second of all, even if you make the playoffs next year, the Steelers are probably going to have more than enough draft capital to trade up for a quarterback next year. There's supposed to be 4 to 6 first-round quarterbacks next year. The opportunity is absolutely there for the Steelers to trade up for a quarterback, even if they're good next year. So, of course, Chris Broussard, the Ravens fan, would love to see Will Howard out there so that Aaron Rodgers can't beat his ass anymore. All right, a little bit of a trade here. Jaguars trading picks number 88 and 100 to the Denver Broncos in exchange for pick 62. Is it just me, or did the Jaguars fleece the Broncos here?
I feel like this is a fleece. You move up, 26 spots, and all it takes is pick 100?
Yeah.
What's the trade value on that? It's got to be overpriced for...
I mean, I'm sure Moose just took a bad deal just so he could say he had more than 1 pick in this mock draft, because the Broncos, heading into this, only had 1 third-round pick, and it was pick 62. Or they had 1 pick. It was in the second round. They don't have a third-round pick. They don't have a first-rounder. So I think that he wants to say, hey, I took more than 1 player in this mock draft, so he traded down from 62 for a couple of late thirds.
We have a little bit of cheating going on in our
Oh yeah, classic Mitchell Renz cheater here says if he's trying to put together a trade when it's not allowed. Can't trade in the middle of the draft. Yep. Jeremy Chugg says we have to take Fernando Mendoza away for tampering. I agree.
Per Chat Sports rules.
Put him on the Steelers roster. We'll take Fernando Mendoza.
Dude, is Ty Simpson going to follow us?
Well, let's take a look at all the picks before the Steelers pick here once we talk about Danny Denny Smith from Penn State. I know there's a lot of Penn State fans in our Steelers audience. I hate Denny Sutton. Dude, he stinks. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't see the upside with him. For a round 2 pick, I think he's a middle round pick at best. I just don't see it with this guy, man.
Where are we?
So I think that's a bad pick by Philly.
So we're at 63.
So we got the pick at 62, did we not? Oh, we did. K-Ron Crawford from Auburn in round 2. Wow. It's a little early for him, but he's good in coverage. I'll give him that. He's a very undersized outside linebacker type, so he fits the 3-4 system that they run there in Jacksonville, but he's going to be more of a rotational guy there anyway, so I don't hate that, but it's a little early. So we're looking here at what teams could take Ty Simpson before the Steelers pick at 85. Because I'm sorry, guys, if Simpson's there at 85, we have to take him. Like, you can say it's not realistic, but like it's not like a situation where it's a mock draft simulator. This is an actual mock draft where these teams are making picks based on what their teams would do. Now, I think what's fucking it up is I think very clearly the Cardinals would have taken Simpson at 34. It's just that JOD, our Cardinals host, hates Ty Simpson. So the team that makes the most sense for Ty Simpson, the host of the Chat Sports channel here, doesn't want him. So that's kind of why he's falling here. He could still take him at 25, but like I don't see any teams in this area that would take him. Ponzi, do you?
Whoa. Yeah, also just... Is this just a little bit of a reach to you?
What?
This next pick? Romeo Height?
Romello Height, the edge from Texas Tech in round 2.
I like him.
Listen, man, he plays with his hair on fire. He's undersized. He's going to be a rotational edge rusher.
That's back-to-back questionable picks.
New England not having a great draft, in my opinion. Caleb Lomu and Romello Height, that's not a great combo for me. We continue on here. Raiders have already taken a quarterback. They're not going to go there. JOD has the Browns at 70, so if he hates Ty Simpson and he loves Shadur Sanders, Cleveland's not taking him at 70. So it's completely unrealistic because two teams that could realistically take Ty Simpson, we have a host here that refuses to take him. Which, I get it. It's his mock draft, but at the same time, you got to be at least a little bit realistic here.
I think, obviously with all the trades that we've had, I think it's okay to be a little bit good fun here. But, realistically, he probably would have been picked with the Cardinals' second rounder at least.
Yeah, at the very least. Let's just take the trade down situation that we had earlier at number 9, going from 3 to 9. I think there's a chance he could have been taken there. I think 34 is probably the more likely scenario there. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, I don't know if the Jets really feel like that. And maybe this is a case where it's hey, maybe Ty Simpson does fall to round 3.
Or maybe how about we take a safety at 85 and we still get Ty at 899? Honestly, I would be okay with that because if Ty gets taken, it's not going to be any skin off my ass. I'll just take another player at 99. That's not a big deal.
Just one last reminder before we get to this last. We are in a break right now.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yes.
This one, Prize Picks?
No.
Oh.
I was going to do merch.
Oh, okay, cool. So if you guys want to pick up any of our merch for either of our channels here, our Steelers audience can pick up our brand new Pittman t-shirts. Available on our website, chatsports.com/stmerch. At that link, you guys can also get Steelers Talk channel logo t-shirts as well as our Married Into This collection. Right now, we're having a flash sale, guys, where 20% off is the price here for everything on our website up until the end of this mock draft. Okay, guys? So make sure you guys take advantage of that while the Steelers and Commanders are waiting for our upcoming picks here in round 3. Go to chatsports.com/stmerch and pick up any of the number of t-shirts or hats that we have available on our website. Then for our Commanders audience, we have one t-shirt currently in circulation, which is our Scary Terry McLaurin t-shirt, which you guys have been buying up like crazy. Thank thank you guys so much for your support. But chatsports.com/scary to pick yours up today. These t-shirts come in 3 different colors, black, red, and then white. I love the paint splatter in the background. Love the Scream mask on Terry here. Obviously, the jersey is a little bit outdated because the Commanders just got new unis, but I think this is a t-shirt that you can wear to a summer barbecue or a Commanders training camp. They're going to get a lot of compliments. So chatsports.com/scary to pick yours up today. All right. Yeah, let's catch up on some super chats here. Only one. Okay. Jadarian Price, by the way, was the final pick in round 2. The Seattle Seahawks ended up taking the running back from Notre Dame there at the end of round 2. Which, by the way, I think there's a chance Price goes in the first round. Now, I think Seattle is a prime trade down candidate because they can still get Price maybe in the middle of the second round, and maybe they could trade down. But I mean, that's good value getting Jadarian Price at the end of round 2. Bernard with the 5 says just because you suck doesn't mean you get a great young QB. Look at the Jets, LOL. Look at the Browns. How long have the Browns sucked? It doesn't mean that you get a great QB, man. I know Steelers fans are like, oh, yeah, we drafted Terry Bradshaw number 1, and we took Big Ben Roethlisberger in the top 10. It's worked out every time for us, so it's going to work out again. And that's not necessarily the case, right? So I think, especially with Cam Hayward at the end of his career, TJ Watt getting towards the end, this team is clearly trying to win now. It doesn't make sense to have a strategy. Oh, there he is. Ty Simpson off the board. He finally did it. Finally did it. Oh, my God. All right. I would have felt bad to have to take him there. I would have had to, man. If he was there in round 3, I would have had to do it. All right. But he ends up going in round 3 here at the top of the round with a massive fall at pick number 65. So we're coming up here pretty soon at the Commanders pick at 71. Bernard with a 2 says, Jack, people say you're in love with Aaron Rodgers, LOL. I mean, people can say what they want. I like Aaron Rodgers. I think that he can be a very effective quarterback for us this year. So I guess that's somewhat accurate. I think that I definitely like Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. I think he gives this team the best chance to succeed this year. If people disagree with that, that's fine, but that's my take. All right, so let's take a look at some of the top players available at certain positions of needs. Malachi Fields coming off the board here, wide receiver from Notre Dame, going to Tennessee. So the Commanders, I think we could look at center. Do we have a center graphic here? All right. So I would say Sam Hecht is the guy that I'm looking at here in terms of the center prospects, but what about safety? Still got Zakee Wheatley and Bud Clark available, so Jalen Kilgore's still there as well. Corner, maybe? Corner. Let's take a look at corner and defensive lineman as well. Ooh, man, there's some good corners. I really like Keith Abney from Arizona State. I might have to think about taking him if I'm the Commanders. Malik Muhammad's a pretty decent player. Chandler Rivers is a pretty good player as well from Duke. What about the defensive lineman? Dominique Orange, Big Citrus still on the board. Darrell Jackson Jr. still on the board as well from Florida State. All right, pick number 67, the pick that Mitch tried to trade away. Cheater. Now, for our Steelers audience, I just want to let you know, I don't think I'm even going to consider a quarterback until 99. All right? I might not pick one in this entire draft because I probably prefer the Steelers pick one in round 4 anyways. So if there's good players at other positions, I'm probably going to pass on quarterback in this mock, just so you guys know. But Zachariah Branch, wide receiver. I'm surprised he didn't go Elijah Surratt. To have Fernando Mendoza's best buddy, the back shoulder machine that was at Indiana last year between those two. How do you not take Elijah Surratt there?
That's kind of a big miss, I'm not going to lie.
I understand that they took – I think they took a bigger receiver earlier, did they not?
Let's see their
yeah, let's see. I can't remember if they took a receiver earlier.
I don't think so.
Because they bring in Jalen Naylor this offseason. That was like their big addition. They have Dante Thornton from Tennessee, their draft pick from last year.
No.
So that's their pick at receiver. Wow, I'm shocked that he did not take Elijah Surratt. Shocked. Like that, to me, that is a much better pick. Now, maybe they're thinking Branch can help them on special teams, like kind of our same thinking with the Steelers pick. But Branch, like you're taking a bit of a risk on him because
Or maybe someone convinced him.
any sort of downfield route running ability, like I think there's flashes of it. There's just not a lot of it on his film. So it's a little bit of a projection where it's like you're hoping that he can run routes down the field at a high level. And he's small.
So who are we looking at for 71 here?
Dude, I'm not going to lie, man. I think Keith Abney would be a good pick. Show me the safeties again.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, the board has fallen decently.
Yeah. Can we just see the best available and just scroll down and see who's the best available here? See if we can get a... Yeah, Keith Abney would be probably the best value here. Dominique Orange. If you want to go D-line, you could get Dominique Orange and have him potentially be your Daron Payne replacement of the future, maybe? Just keep going down.
Sorry.
Not just the first four. Is there anybody here that... Nah. We've already taken receiver, so there's a couple of receivers I like at this spot. It's just I don't love any. We took Makai Lemon, so I don't see another need to draft the first two picks wide receiver. So
I mean, I thought
Kyle Lewis is still here.
Yeah.
I definitely would maybe consider him.
I think he might be my second guy if Keith Abney isn't there.
Yeah, I like Kyle Lewis. I think that he would be an awesome fit in Durante Jones's system. He could play like a big nickel. He could be this team's Josh Metellus. So I actually kind of like that at 71 here.
People in Commander's chat saying big citrus or corner.
The thing about Kyle Lewis is that you're not going to get a player like him in the rest of the draft.
No.
Whereas there's still some good DTs and there's still some pretty good corners available. But Abney's really good.
And remember, we do have a second, third round pick.
And we do have a second, third rounder.
I think
it's a tough call for me, man.
I think we go if we get this. I don't know. Kyle Lewis,
Do we go Keith Abney and then if Lewis finds a way to fall to us, like we're thrilled about it?
we could see Lewis go off right now. I could see the tactic.
Because if we miss out on Kyle Lewis, later on down the draft, we could look at Harold Perkins Jr. from LSU. That's a possibility.
Keyshawn Elliott, I don't mind.
Yeah. There's some
him.
good linebackers still available. Josiah Trotter's still out there, man. He's a pretty darn good player. But I don't want to get a true linebacker. I'd rather get like an undersized cover player that can kind of be like a safety linebacker hybrid. I think if Keith Abney's there at 71, that's going to be the pick.
Cleveland's pick is in. Oh my goodness.
Did they take him? Oh my God. Cleveland is just absolutely
cucking us.
They are a thorn in my side today. Can I take a look at the corners here?
Yeah.
I am on the board here at 71. I don't love Malik Muhammad here. I'd rather take him later. I think we might have to go Kyle Lewis here, guys. Let's take a look at safety.
Wheatley's there.
Nah, I like Clark too, but
I think we can get him with this next pick.
Yeah, I think we could. Defensive line, people want big citrus, man, and I would love to be able to say we got big citrus.
And Johnny Newton, Illinois guy too, right? Let's see. What does the GM of the Washington Commanders have to say?
All right, I just sent it in.
Ba-da-dum-bum-bum, ba-da-dum-dum-dum.
All right, we are going to be taking Big Citrus. He is a Washington Commander. Let's go, man. Big Citrus is a Washington Commander. He'll be the heir apparent with Daron Payne entering the final year of his contract. He's going to be an instant part of this rotation. Sam just texted me, Sperry loves fatties. Absolutely. I love me some big citrus, dude. All right, that's some great stuff right there. Love that, all right? Think it's a good value. Think he's a good player. Now we have to shift our focus quickly here to Steelers because we have a pick at – no, our next pick is not until 85. So we got a little bit of time here. But we'll be pretty much back-to-back here, 85, and then we have a pick again at 87. So looking ahead for the Steelers, I think you're probably looking at safety. Like, I think Kyle Lewis might be in play here as well because he could be that kind of hybrid player that I think Patrick Graham would like in the defense. But also Jalen Kilgore is interesting. I think Bud Clark would be an awesome fit as well. We can take a look at probably defensive line, corner, and safety. So right now, defensive linemen available. Some good players. I like Darrell Jackson Jr. a lot. Steelers have shown a lot of interest in him. Where is Darrell Jackson on the regular big board right now, on the best available? 'Cause I'm trying to figure out, could we potentially get him at 99? Because if not, he might be the player that I'm kind of eyeballing here. But I want to see where he is on the big board here because I know every other team in this mock draft is looking at the best available.
Let me see if I can pull this up real quick.
Okay, so he's not on that list right there. He's not in the top 8. He is not in the top 12, so that's interesting.
Not in the top 16?
Not in the top 16. I think we might be able to pull it off, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely not impossible.
No, not there.
I'm considering, maybe waiting on, and if we don't have Darrell Jackson at 99, we could just, take Drew Aller or something. I'm going to take the best player available.
I don't know if you see this pick right now. Very, very classic.
Ah, yes. Kyle Lewis off the board to Cincinnati.
And then
Good
Mike
pick.
Washington.
Good pick. And then Mike Washington. Of course, Arkansas running back to the Saints. I don't think he's that good. I think he has a big fumble issue. I don't think he has great vision. I think this is an Arkansas Razorback fan seeing the special physical traits in Trace Gerard and wanting him on his football team. I think that's what it is.
Hey, look, I might have my Texas Tech bias. At least I know where I'm wrong.
Yeah, for sure. All
But,
right. So Kansas City on the clock at 74. Another thing the Steelers can maybe consider is adding another receiver, but I think in this scenario where we trade up and we trade all those picks, I think you probably go receiver again later in the draft, but it'll be later in the draft. It'll be on day 3.
To you, Sperry, I think with QB, obviously Drew Aller's there, but I don't mind if you don't even pick QB in the 3rd. Like, I think if you want to double dip at wide receiver,
I don't feel a huge need to draft a quarterback in this mock draft. Like,
sorry, Craig, you said the Washington GM keeps effing us over.
Because I took Big Citrus?
Yeah.
Well, the Steelers, I don't think that's screwing the Steelers over because the Steelers haven't even met with Big Citrus.
No.
So I don't really see that as a player. Like, if the Steelers are going to take a DT in round 3, I think it's going to be Darrell Jackson Jr. from Florida State, who's still available. So we
don't know if he's still available.
So I don't think, and like I said with the Makai Lemon thing, I think whether I trade down and take him or not, he's going to get picked before the Steelers, pick. So I think either way, it would have been the same situation, and the board would have fell in a very similar way. So trust me, Steelers fans, I really believe that I am not screwing the Pittsburgh Steelers with these picks. Now, you can disagree with that, and at the end of the day, these are 2 separate teams, and I'm the GM of 2 separate teams, but I'm just one person that has one opinion. So a lot of the players that I like for the Steelers, I also like for the Washington Commanders, right? So
hard to get away from that.
Just the way that it is. So I'm not taking a quarterback at 85 if I'm the Steelers.
Do any of these teams think about pulling the trigger on like a Drew Aller because they fall in love with his upside?
Maybe Miami. I know for a fact that Nick Roloff has Drew Aller as his number 3 quarterback in the class. Now,
Did not go with him.
And they've got a bunch of picks at the end of this 3rd round.
Didn't go with him.
So
here,
I don't think they take him here. By the way, the Chiefs took slot receiver out of Clemson, Antonio Williams. Ted Hurst. I like that pick for them.
I like that pick too.
Now,
Foley's cooking a little bit.
Now here's the problem with Ted Hurst. It's going to be bumpy in year 1 because he's going to be asked to be a number 1 receiver going up against number 1 NFL corners. He played at Georgia State last year, guys, and I think that NFL press man coverage is going to be an adventure for him in year 1. Doesn't have a lot of play strength. He's a big play threat. Kind of like the Walmart version of George Pickens, in my opinion, where he's got like that lanky frame, big strides, is good after the catch, better route runner than he gets credit for, makes crazy catches down the sideline. But
the only thing is he played
you're
going
going
to
to be you're going to be banking on Ted Hurst to be your number 1 receiver next year. I think they probably should have gone receiver earlier. If I were them, I would have taken Carnell Tate at 7. I don't know why they went edge rusher there at 7.
Maybe for a fan pick.
Maybe. But like I get it, Miami Hurricanes sticking in South Beach, but like they need a true number 1 receiver. If they want Malik Willis to be good this year, they got to have somebody that can legitimately be a number 1, and they had a legit number 1 in their sights with the number 7 pick, and they missed him. And they passed on Denzel Boston at 30 to take a corner. So I'm not a big fan of Bisantis. So I honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of that collection of picks for Miami, if I'm being honest.
Seattle.
Trace said someone bought a shirt to make that pick. So I guess our Saints host is selling picks. Something we all agreed wouldn't be something that we do this year.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was easy to sell him on that pick, though.
I bet. So the Seattle Seahawks are taking Davison Igbeneusen from Ohio State. I think he's a good press man corner, but the thing is they don't play press man at all in Seattle. So better learn how to play from off coverage there, man. I think that's a terrible fit.
Who would have been a better fit there?
Malik Muhammad, Chandler Rivers, both of those guys would have been better fits in my opinion. Yeah.
I think that's just, we saw the top corner, let's take him.
Looks like Tampa Bay is already making their selection as well. Max Clare, tight end from Ohio State.
Our pick is coming up.
So let's take a look here at the best defensive linemen, cornerbacks, and safeties. So best defensive lineman, Darrell Jackson Jr. is definitely on my radar for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At corner, Malik Muhammad, Chandler Rivers, 2 decent players, and then safety is the one I'm really looking at. Bud Clark, I think is probably the guy that I would prefer for the Steelers, just because he can play in the slot. So if Jalen Ramsey gets injured, Clark could potentially play there. You also have Brandon Echols there as well, though. But the Steelers, the one thing that we don't have right now that I think the Steelers really want to get is a safety that can be brought in this year to be a backup/rotation piece behind Jaquan Brisker. But remember, Brisker only has a 1-year contract. So I think what they want is somebody that can eventually be their full-time starter down the road. And I think Bud Clark fits that perfectly. And Chandler Rivers off the board here to Indianapolis.
Trying to look at who could potentially steal him under from us.
And then I think I'm going to take a center for Washington to round out the Commanders mock draft because they need a center. And if I don't know if the team plans on signing a veteran like Graham Glasgow, who would be awesome for that team, by the way. I don't know if he's contemplating retirement. I don't know what's going on with Graham Glasgow because he seems like a perfect fit for the Commanders offense. But you got Ethan Pocic, who's not as good as he once was. Lloyd Cushenberry, who's had a couple off seasons in Tennessee. But, he got a big contract from the Titans a few years ago, so maybe there's still something there. I would prefer the Commanders go get a veteran center, but I think they might be planning on getting a rookie to compete with Nick Allegretti this year. So I think that's probably where I'm going with these next 2 picks. Safety for Pittsburgh, center for Washington. It just depends on if the right guy falls to me here.
Because, a lot of these teams could just start thinking about, getting a center, getting some young guys in their room,
So, like, it isn't impossible, especially, like, for the safeties, too. So that's my biggest concern for the Steelers here.
And honestly, getting Bud Clark at 85 is pretty perfect because he's currently ranked 88th on the consensus big board. So that's about where he's expected to go. I'm just worried that one of these teams is going to swoop in here before 85. We got 4 picks to go here, or 3 picks, I should say, or 5 picks. We're at pick 80. Oscar Delp, the tight end from Georgia, sticking in Georgia, going to go play for the Atlanta Falcons. Jake Slaughter. I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually not. Some people think Slaughter's the best center in this class. I would disagree with that. I actually think Connor Lew is the best center prospect in the class, but he needs a little bit of time to develop, in my opinion. Sam Hecht is probably the most pro-ready, in my opinion. But Slaughter, I guess, is fine. I'm fine with the Ravens taking him, though, because it increases the chances that one of these centers that I actually want for the Commanders are going to be there. Josiah Trotter, a good run-defending linebacker. This is about right for him, round 3. Should be able to contribute right away for Jacksonville. Good pick by my guy, Cully.
Duval.
Now, I know there's probably some Steelers fans that are Penn State fans that really want Zakee Wheatley, but I think Bud Clark's a better player. So let's just hope nobody, because here's the thing. Minnesota needs safety. Did they take one earlier?
No.
I don't think they. No, they did. They took Halsey. They took Halsey.
Oh, they did. They did. That's right.
So I don't think they're taking Bud Clark here, or at least I hope not. Because that's what I'm hoping is falling to me here at 85.
Don't double up at safety. Don't do that to us.
Yeah, nose tackle and 2 safeties. That would be a crazy. Oh man, the guy that I wanted for the Commanders at 87 is off the board. It's Sam Hecht. I guess I'll take Connor Lew.
He's young, guys.
Because he's young, moldable. I can draft him and still sign Graham Glasgow in free agency. I think he's got the best upside out of any center in this class.
Sometimes I feel like these other GMs here
are listening in on our streams.
Yeah, they're stream sniping us.
All right, Carolina's pick is in.
Let's see who it is.
They already took a safety as well, so I don't think they're going to go safety again here.
Yeah, they took the Eneman.
Yeah, they took Thieneman in round 1. Malik Muhammad, the cornerback from Texas. So would have been an option for me for Pittsburgh and Washington, actually. I think he fits both of what the Steelers are kind of looking for, and the Commanders, especially the Commanders with the off-coverage stuff. Played a lot of man at Texas, but he's really, really good in off-coverage, in my opinion. So don't hate that for a team in Carolina that plays a lot of off coverage. I think that's a good fit in round 3. Maybe a little bit rich. I think he's like 99 on the consensus big board. He's getting taken here at 83.
See what Trader Joey has to pick.
And we'll see what Trader Joey has for us here. I doubt he takes safety.
Need me to look at best.
Why every time we pick there is a AFC North team drafting in front of us?
It's NFC North.
What's that?
NFC North.
The Ravens?
This is Packers.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Still a North team.
Still a North team. I thought it was Ravens for some reason. Man, there's some good players still on the board. Dazon Stribling's a good player.
All right, we're on the clock.
Dalen Everett, corner from Georgia. Have fun with him. He's fast. He can't move laterally very well. So I'm not a big fan of Dalen Everett.
Very Packers corner.
That's fine by me that they want him. So now the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, and the person that I was hoping to fall to me at 85 is here. That would be Bud Clark from TCU, so I'm going to put that in. Bud Clark is number 88 on the consensus big board, so this is right around where he's expected to go. I was hoping that he was going to fall to me here, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm loving my Steelers mock draft to this point where we have KC Concepcion to be our slot weapon, vertical threat, and a yak threat. Great special teams player, return man. Then you trade up to go get Emmanuel Pregnon, who I think might be a top 5 offensive lineman in the class, taking away positional value to be your immediate starting left guard, plug and play. Then you get Bud Clark to come in here, and if you guys watch the Senior Bowl practices this year, he was maybe the most impressive safety in coverage. If you ask a guy like this to play man-to-man against a slot corner, he's going to be able to do that. He can play in the slot. He did that quite a bit at TCU, but he can also play safety. I think with his athleticism, his coverage ability, he's going to be coming in here as an understudy behind Jaquan Brisker, and he's eventually going to be a starting safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers starting in 2027. I think that this guy's the perfect guy for the Steelers to target in round 3 at the safety position. We end up landing him here at number 85. So let's take a look at the top centers here. Tom Downey, our Cowboys host, just texted me, "You dick." So I guess, Tom and I are both high on Bud Clark. And here, guys, I think I'm going to go. Which center should I go here, folks? Logan Jones from Iowa or Connor Lew? I think Logan might be a little bit more ready to play right now. But Lew, it might be a little bit more upside. You know what? I'm going to go with Logan Jones, who I really like. I think he's more ready to play right away. If this was a situation where I could sit my center, I would pick Connor Lew, but I don't know if I have that. So if I'm picking a guy to play starting center for the Washington Commanders this year, I have to go with Logan Jones because he's a really good athlete, moves really well. So if David Blough wants to do, the outside zone stuff, they can do that. We saw Ben Johnson do that a lot in Detroit and in Chicago last year. I think he fits what the team is kind of looking for from an athletic standpoint. I think that this is a good pick for the Washington Commanders, a position that this team desperately needs. I don't trust Nick Allegretti to be this team's starting center this year. I just don't. And, we don't have a pick until round 5 in this mock draft scenario, and I just don't think we're going to get a center in round 5 that's going to be ready to play right away. So bring in Logan Jones. He can compete with Nick Allegretti. If Jones isn't ready to go, I guess you start Allegretti to start the season. But I honestly think Logan Jones would win that competition. I think that is a good pick for the Washington Commanders. And you guys can kind of see here, because we don't have any trades lined up at the end of round 3, spoiler alert, Commanders fans, but we're going to finish this mock draft here in the first 3 rounds with 3 players that I think can help this team win. All right, Makai Lemon, a good player here out of USC, going to be your Amon-Ra St. Brown in this Ben Johnson-style offense with David Blough calling the plays. I think that him and Jaden Daniels will get along great. I think that he could be your future number 1 receiver. So, if Terry McLaurin gets injured again, or if he has a down season next year and Makai Lemon is, clearly the future, you could even think about trading Terry McLaurin next offseason if it makes sense. Obviously, you can keep Terry if he balls out, which I think that if he stays healthy, you absolutely could. But you're going to be pairing up Terry McLaurin and Makai Lemon for the foreseeable future, and you're probably still going to add Brandon Ayuk to that group by the end of the offseason. That is a legitimate wide receiver trio for Jaden Daniels heading into his 3rd year. Then Dominique Orange. Daron Payne is heading into the final year of his contract. You need a future at nose tackle, and Orange is a guy that can certainly bring that for the Washington Commanders. Plus, it'd be so cool. Big Citrus is a Washington Commander. That's an elite nickname. And then you get Logan Jones, center from Iowa, there at the end of round 3. I really like that pick personally. Really good athlete. Maybe the play strength isn't exactly where it needs to be, but they coach up their offensive linemen at Iowa really, really well. And I think if anybody that was left on the board was going to be, a solid, functional starting center for this offense next year, it was probably going to be Logan Jones. So I think we can end this mock draft here for the Washington Commanders feeling pretty darn good about where we stand here going into day 3 of the NFL draft. And, I think that's where we're at. Then when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously, you've got KC Concepcion, Emmanuel Pregnon, Bud Clark. If you end up with those 3 players as your first 3 picks, that is an unbelievable start to your draft. I know you had to trade up to get Pregnon, but I think these are the 3 positions the Steelers want to address first with their first 3 picks this year, and you're getting players that can, really help you out in year 1 and down the road. I would be really, really happy with this result if it actually ends up happening. Obviously, I'd prefer a Jordan Tyson or a Makai Lemon or Omar Cooper Jr. if they followed you at 21, but Concepcion, really electric player. I have no problem taking him in round 1. Pregnon's going to be plug and play, left guard. Feel really good about him getting a second contract, and because we trade back into first round, he gets that extra year on his deal. And then Bud Clark, man, I think he's going to be your starting free safety 2027 after a year playing and developing behind Jaquan Brisker. All right, so now we're into the 90s. Can we just have a little bit of a recap here of the picks that we missed? Chris McClellan to the Eagles. I think we need to go back even further, Ponzi. Okay. Let's see here. Obviously after our picks, so keep going. Yeah. Jonah Coleman, the running back from Washington, kind of an A.J. Dillon-esque power back going to Denver. Then you got, who's next? Chris McClellan? Yeah, Chris McClellan goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, defensive tackle from Missouri. With Jalen Carter's situation being a little bit fuzzy. Yeah, I don't hate that as a rotational piece for them. All right, so now the only pick we have left in this mock draft is the Pittsburgh Steelers at 99. Is this the time to go quarterback? Honestly, man, if Darrell Jackson Jr. is there at 99, that's the pick. Because the Steelers love him. They've brought him in for a top 30 visit and a top 30 visit and had a combine formal with him. Only 7 players in this draft the Steelers had both of those with. He was one of them, so they clearly like him. Long arms, big body, can be disruptive, but he can also, I think he's got upside as a potential future nose tackle. You got a guy that's a similar build in Sebastian Joseph Day on a shorter-term contract, a veteran piece that can coach him up. Maybe he can be your nose tackle of the future. I think if he's there at 99, that's the pick. If he's not, what are some other positions here? We could go Jazon Stribling, I guess, but I think in this scenario where you're trading 3 picks to go up to 32, you're probably not taking another receiver this early. You could think about linebacker. I like Keyshawn Elliott from ASU and Bryce Betcher from Oregon. I think both those players are good players to me, but is it too early to take linebacker? I would definitely take Darrell Jackson ahead of him. But I think the clear leader in the clubhouse here, Ponzi, is Darrell Jackson Jr. if he finds a way to get to 99. Can we look at the best available? Where is Darrell Jackson ranked? Right now, he's still the number 2 defensive lineman. Because if he gets taken here, I don't love Onyedem, Halton, or Regis for the Steelers. I'd want somebody with maybe a future at nose tackle, a bigger-bodied guy. Yeah, you got some options here. You know, I think Keyshawn Elliott, linebacker's an interesting one if we can't get Darrell Jackson. Markel Bell's interesting from Miami. Offensive tackle. Big, hulking player that the Steelers like. I would think about him. Still some good receivers on the board here. I'm going to be honest with you guys, Steelers fans out there, I wanted to take a guard in round 1 this year at 21. That was my plan going into today. I was hoping to get Iwane. I was hoping to get Fano. And then my emergency option actually was Caden Proctor because I think he can be an excellent guard at the next level. And then I was going to take a receiver later on because I knew Ponzi that these good receivers were going to be here waiting for me in round 3 if I wanted to do that. But right now, obviously, we're going to be a little bit more of hoping and praying one of these guys that we like. I would say right now, I might go a fatty here. Another one. Either Markel Bell, massive left tackle, mauler out of Miami, or Darrell Jackson Jr. If one of those 2 guys are there, I think that's going to be the pick for me. But can we just and Dejon Stribling, by the way, off the board to L.A. Good pick for them. Good pick because he
Keyshawn Elliott, does that become a possibility if you really want for Steelers?
I would say Keyshawn would be my 3rd option.
Gotcha. I think that's probably my 3rd as well. I just think because Patrick Queen's on 1-year deal, linebacker, what? 2 of your pieces don't have a contract pass this year?
Yeah, so Quinn and Malik Harrison are both free agents next year. So I do think the Steelers would want to bring in like a developmental linebacker, and Keyshawn Elliott fits that mold. But is round 3 too early for him? I mean, he's a good player. And we could take Nussmeier, we could take Aller, but like, if I'm being honest with you guys, I think there's a chance that the Steelers could get Aller in round 4. I don't think that the Steelers are in a position where they have to feel pressed to take a quarterback at 99. Because you're going to have Rodgers back this year, most likely. The team likes Will Howard as a QB prospect. They like Mason Rudolph as a backup. So if there's players at other positions that you really like, I don't think it makes sense to go quarterback at 99. I think you wait until round 4, see if there's a value guy there, see if Drew Aller or Garrett Nussmeier falls to you in round 4, which I don't think is impossible. And, if you like those guys enough there, take them there. I think with quarterback, it's a situation where it's like, if we get the right opportunity to take one, great. But, like, we're not going to forego taking a good player at another position that we want a good player at to take a quarterback, because next year's class is supposed to be a lot better. You have a younger quarterback that you like on the team in Will Howard, and Aaron Rodgers will be back this year, so it's not like you need to take a quarterback this year. You'd like to take one, but like if a guy like Darrell Jackson Jr. is sitting there for you at 99, that's going to be my pick. Jayshawn Barham, by the way, edge rusher from Michigan, goes to Miami. Jacoby Lane stinks. This is the worst. The Patriots mock might be the worst mock of this entire. Alpert, what are we doing, man? Jacoby Lane blows. He's a big receiver that doesn't play with play strength, and he doesn't separate. And he's injured a lot. Then Jalen Kilgore, oh my God, getting another South Carolina safety to pair with Nick Emenwari. Good pick by Ortner there at 96. All right, I'm putting it in the chamber here. Hopefully nobody. The Giants already took a DT earlier in Peter Woods. I don't think they go DT again. Is Chris Bell still available? Oh, no, he must have got picked somewhere.
Oh, my God.
What? Oh, my God, man. Are you kidding me? The Giants have been absolutely killing me today, guys. Let's put up the DTs here, see if there's anyone that we like. Otherwise, we might be shifting to either quarterback, linebacker, or I don't know, man. Maybe Markel Bell. I like Markel a lot, but I like Nick Barrett a lot from South Carolina, but I think it's too early for him. Yeah, I don't think we're taking D-line here, guys. Go to offensive tackle. Actually, go to top available. Oh, best available? Okay. Don't do the 4. Do the 8. I want to see options here because I'm almost on the board here. All right, we are on the clock here, Steelers Nation. So who do we take? Sargent wants Drew Aller. Honestly, man, I'm considering it at this point. Now, Markel Bell is an awesome – I really like Markel Bell. And, I don't think later in the draft you're going to get a player like him. I think you can get a decent quarterback prospect. So I'm going to take the massive offensive tackle from Miami, guys. I know there's people that want a quarterback taken here. I think there's a chance Drew Aller falls to 135, which would be our next pick in this scenario. And if he doesn't, Garrett Nussmeier has a decent chance of being there. If he's not there, we'll just continue on with this draft because we don't need to take a quarterback in this year's draft. So I'm going to take Markel Bell, offensive tackle from Miami, to give us some more depth on the offensive line and competition for Dylan Cook, Broderick Jones, who we don't even know is going to be available for the start of training camp. I just think you want to bring in somebody here with some size, really fortify this group and kind of make it injury-proof. Like if the Steelers have injuries on the offensive line this year with Pregnon and Bell, you're going to be fine. And with Nussmeier, Aller still on the board, I think that there's a decent chance you could get one of those in 135. And if both of them are off the board by then, you just continue on. Get a linebacker, get a corner, continue to fill out the needs and your future needs on the roster. All right. The pick is in. There it is. Markel Bell, the massive left tackle from the Miami Hurricanes. Mauler, built to play in the AFC North. I think that it's the right time to go get him at this spot. I would have taken Darrell Jackson Jr. at 97, so Marsh, if you're watching, F you, man. I love you, but F you for taking my guy at 97. But I like Markel Bell a lot too. Still adding a good trench player. Trench play is king in the National Football League, especially in the AFC North. So now we're at the final pick here in round 3, and we can take a look here at what we had for the Pittsburgh Steelers through these first 3 rounds. And I think that we did a pretty darn good job. I'm not going to lie. I probably would have loved to get Darrell Jackson Jr., just like I would have loved to get Makai Lemon or Jordan Tyson or one of these guys. Yeah, I know. I took quiet over there, Ponzi, all right? But I think that this is a very good haul. If the Pittsburgh Steelers end up getting these 4 players, I would be really happy with it. KC Concepcion, I think, is a first-round caliber wide receiver. Now, he's going to have to fix the drops when he gets into the league, but he's an electric playmaker. He separates. He gets down the field and separates vertically. So I think he provides this wide receiver room everything that it's looking for, and he provides special teams value. You get Emmanuel Pregnon. I know you had to give up quite a bit to go get a guard, but, I mean, that guy's pretty much a guarantee to be a multi-contract guy here in Pittsburgh. I think that he's an awesome prospect and more than worth that 32 overall selection, especially because Iwane, Proctor, Fano were all off the board. Then Bud Clark, round 3, really love the safety prospect out of TCU. Great coverage player. I think Patrick Graham would love him. Then Markel Bell, the massive tackle from Miami. Getting some more depth along an important group along the offensive line. Still going into day 3, could use another quarterback, could use a defensive line rotation piece, could use a developmental corner, a developmental linebacker. But heading into day 3 here, guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers get everything that they need to get in this draft. All right, you get your number 3 starting receiver, you get your starting left guard, you get your developmental safety that's going to eventually be your starter in 2027, and then you get a guy in Markel Bell who at best is your starting left tackle and wins that competition out of camp. At worst is really, really good depth at the offensive line spot. Where he can get better, and maybe he's your starting left tackle in 2027. So really like the result that we had here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then for the members of our Commanders audience that is still watching, I really like what we got here for the Washington Commanders. Makai Lemon, future number 1 receiver in Washington, current number 2 or number 3, depending on the Brandon Ayuk situation and how he plays this year, but slot weapon in an offense that knows how to use slot weapons. Then Dominique Orange, big citrus, big nose tackle to replace Daron Payne as the future starting nose tackle of the Commanders. And Logan Jones, a day 1 starting center for you, or at least somebody that can compete for the starting job. All right, well, I think that it's still 5. All right, cool. So just so you guys know, our bosses just let us know that the 20% off flash sale on our website, chatsports.com/stmerch, is going to be available until 5 p.m. tonight, right? Or is it 5 minutes after the draft?
It's 5 p.m. CT.
Oh, okay, so 6 p.m. Eastern time, because we're already past 5 p.m. Eastern time. 6 p.m. Eastern time, guys, is when this flash sale ends. If you guys want a Pittman t-shirt, if you want a Steelers Talk channel logo t-shirt, a Married Into This t-shirt, whatever it is, 20% off all of our merch on our website until 6 p.m. Eastern here. So you got about 30 minutes to go. Chatsports.com/stmerch to get your t-shirt today. And then for our Commanders audience, we have our Scary Terry McLaurin t-shirts up on our website. Same thing goes for you guys. 6 p.m. Eastern time, 20% off. Scary Terry McLaurin t-shirts. Chatsports.com/scary is the link. 3 different colors, black, red, or white. You got Terry McLaurin there with the Scream mask, with this paint splatters in the background. Really, really cool design from our guy, Arnold, our merch guy here at Chat Sports. So if you guys want one of those t-shirts, chatsports.com/scary. I think we got some super chats, Ponzi, or at least one. We will stay live for as long as the super chats keep coming in here, guys. So appreciate your guys' support. I think that this was a very successful mock draft here for both teams. I'm very happy with with both the Steelers and the Commanders, what we were able to do today. But put your grades down there in the comment section. How well did I do? Give me a grade between A, B, C, D, or F for your respective team down there in the comment section. $2 from the Only Key. This is basically fan-led mock draft. Yeah, I mean, we did the fan-led mock draft earlier this week on Steelers, and we took KC Concepcion in the first round. We went guard with our second pick. We didn't trade up. We just got Kalen Rutledge at 53. But then in round 3, I'm trying to remember who we got in round 2. I think we got Bud Clark with our third pick, if I'm not mistaken. But I think we got Darrell Jackson Jr. in that mock, and we drafted Drew Aller. But I think we took Markel Bell in the 4th in that mock draft. So a lot of the players are overlapping here, obviously. So Ponzi's actually going to go grab it right now so we can actually see what the fan-led mock draft is. And I think you're right, the Only Key. Yeah, our first 4 picks were KC Concepcion in round 1, Kalen Rutledge in round 2, Bud Clark at 76. So we got Bud Clark for a better value. We got him at 85 in this mock. You got Darrell Jackson Jr. at 85. Then you got Drew Aller at 99, and then you got Markel Bell in round 4. So, yeah, a lot of the same players. And obviously in the fan-led mock draft, we got Bell for a better value. Then we got him in this mock draft, but honestly, in this particular mock, Ponzi, I think there would be a very good chance Drew Aller falls to the Steelers at 135. And like you could just flip-flop those. So obviously, there's no way of confirming that because our mock draft is now over. But I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us here today. For our Steelers audience, we will be live tomorrow for our second normal live show of the week. We'll have segments. We'll have all the different stuff that you guys are used to. We'll also have another Steelers Talk video, a regular one, come out later this afternoon. Commanders fans, we already put your video out for the day, so make sure you guys go check that out on the channel right now. Big shout out to Ponzi. We had some technical difficulties early, but we were able to get through them here, and I think that we did a really good job with both of these mock drafts here. And if I'm a fan of the Washington Commanders or the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm walking away pretty happy with what we were able to do this afternoon. So thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I'll see you guys next time, and until then, guys, peace out.